Lady Order, would you please stand and salute the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome to our meeting. And the next thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the last meeting. And I thought they were okay.
I didn't see anything to be changed. So I make a motion, we approve the minutes of July 23rd, 2025.
So the motion by Chris, second by Mark to approve the minutes of July 23rd. All those in favor? Did you hear anything from?
I did not.
And next to department reports. You want to go?
The first Mike.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, sure.
You want to do a report?
Yeah, well, I think tonight's kind of more of just an introduction.
Sure.
I know I've been able to meet a few of you, but for those who I haven't met, here, I'll stand just so everybody there can see as well. I'm Mike Griswold. I'm the new rec director here in Monmouth. Just finished out I would say my first full month, so week 4. I come to you from Winthrop. I have my wife Amy and 3 kids, so we live over there. But we're very interconnected, being so close to Monmouth, and so it's been a really great fit transitioning into this position, knowing a lot of folks in the community. As I said, it's still in the infancy, but just building out a lot of institutional knowledge around what's going on in Monmouth, getting things ready for the fall programs, which are all up and running. Encourage everybody to check out the MyRec registration program. Other than that, we're going to be building out our recreation committee. So we're accepting applications for that. So anybody who has vested interest in a variety of different areas of programming, whether it be youth, teenage, senior age programming, outdoor education, anything that really makes Monmouth what it is, we want those voices and those representations so we can make programs that reflect the needs of this community. Other than that, my office is housed right here in the rec building. So I'm kind of in and out because I've been doing a lot of different meetings with folks in the community and department heads. So it's been really great to meet everyone and I really appreciate just the welcome and support that everybody shared. So thank you for having me. I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody had any.
Is there anything going on at the beach?
Yes, so it's open. We do have a beach attendant that we brought on, so they are helping to supervise and just kind of take down some notes and observing how people are utilizing the beach. I started my role in mid-July, so this is a helpful tool for me as I've been making my passes, just to meet folks down there and find out again, like, what is it that they want to see down at the beach. But for right now, for the end of the season, just trying to give the presence and some supervision so that the quality of that space is maintained. Yeah, thank you.
And just to reiterate, we are looking for people to be on the recreation committee. This is somebody that Mike is going to get to work with. So if you have any information, if you have any input that you would like about the type of programming or what you want at the beach, for example, or what you want to have anywhere, please come to the town office and fill out an application, and we'll bring this to the board and you guys can appoint people so that he has somebody to work with to try to figure out what the town wants.
Yeah.
So we're open to
I've
that.
tuned into a few past select board meetings just to kind of get a pulse, of where things have been, but more importantly, get a feel for like where things can go. So I feel as though that getting my feet wet now at least gives me enough knowledge that when we really come around the summer planning, which starts well before the summer timeframe, that we can really hit the ground running. And again, that rec committee is a great way to channel a lot of those program ideas and advise me in my position as to what the community wants to see.
Mike, can you just briefly touch on some of the people that you've talked to? I know you've talked to the schools, you've met the library trustees. Can you just briefly go over some of the outreach that you've already tried to do?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, since we live so close and I've served as a coach in the Winthrop community, so I know Mel Barter and Brandon Terrell over at the school very, very well. So that's been really helpful for me to just learn a little bit more about the community. Had a meeting with the library trustees this past Monday night. So talking more about different services that we can both collaborate on. I've met met one of the ladies last night. I forget her name about the senior age programming. Yes, right here. Yes. I'm usually pretty good with
Mike,
names.
remember, that's Darlene Sanborn. It's her sister. Make sure you remember her name. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Same conversation.
Heard him or anything.
So,
No.
I'm just kidding. I
No,
swear.
we invite you to the age friendly.
yes.
Won't be one this month, but there will be one next month, and then you can meet all the committee members and.
Yeah,
So you
absolutely.
can just kind of get a feel for that. But
Yeah, and so I mean, at the end of the day, my philosophy on this is, especially someone new, but I feel very confident in stepping in this role, having had very similar positions. But really looking at the board, when you look at rec, it can mean so many different things, to so many different people. But really looking at infancy to senior age and really evaluating what's going on that's going really well, that's a really tapped in to program and service, but then also too, like where are the gaps? And I think it's my job to be able to talk with all the different entities and the different organizations and the different interest groups to be able to leverage all of those things. So still kind of building out some more meetings. Dan and I are gonna be talking more about fire department collaborations and very briefly even touched upon the committee for the beach party. And so getting my foot in the door and just meeting a lot of the key people has kind of been my first priority of many in this first month.
Can we get the application for boards like on the landing page? Because it's kind of hidden and you have to know
You
where
mean
to
on
look
the
for it.
homepage?
Yeah, yeah, you have to know where to look for
Nope,
that
that's-
application. So if that could be there, I think it would make people see that application front and center, instead of having to figure out where to find it.
Yeah, what I've done with that is on the Facebook page, the new rec Facebook
Yeah.
page, that's on there, the new rec website.
And the email that you sent out today, that had a link to it. That was
Yes.
Very helpful and then showed like.
Try to streamline it as much as I can.
Everything that you're planning, working on right now, it was that was, and those, I assume, I'm just assuming that went to everybody that had gone in and registered on the rec department page.
Yeah, so I can see that there's about 218 active accounts in my rec. So one of the early things that I really want to try to do is make people aware of this program, but also how easy it is. So on the website, I actually created this how-to video of how to create your account, how to register for programs. But I think it's going to take some forward-facing community opportunities. For example, Mel Barter has invited me to the open house for the school that's coming up later this month. So I'll be there to basically meet a lot of the different kiddos and their parents, but also have an extra computer. So I can just say, hey, how you want my rec? Here's the quick one-on-one spreadsheet or a single pager of how to do it and walk them through how to do it. Because once more people are on and they get in the anticipation of knowing where to look, it's going to make everybody's life a lot easier, not just for the community, but administratively as well.
Do you have any applicants for the committee yet, rec committee?
Great question. Oh, we do. There we go, because I was talking. I talked it up.
We don't know if I approve.
I'm pretty sure.
No, I know, you may not want her on there, but I'm just saying, but she's the first one. So
Yeah.
that's why I tried to reiterate that we need people to be interested and to participate, because that's how this is gonna work. Like if nobody participates, then it's Mike out there out in the weeds, trying to figure it out on his own. Like he really needs people to sign up.
Pretty good at that, but at the same
Right.
time, even if folks have questions and they just want to meet and talk with me more and get a feel for how I'm looking to be part of this committee and what I'm looking to try to do for Monmouth, happy to do that.
And just to say on the record, I had heard comments about people that had current terms on the Recreation Commission. The Recreation Commission was abolished with the creation of the new beach ordinance. So if there's any confusion about that, their terms are gone because that commission doesn't exist anymore. So if they would like to continue to serve, they need to reapply to be on the Recreation Committee. Just just to make that clear to anybody who doesn't
I
understand.
didn't put down a term or anything, I just
Yep.
figured it would.
Yep. No, that's not a problem. I just wanted to make it clear to the people that were on the commission before that no longer exists. So if you had a term that hadn't expired, that commission does not exist anymore. So it's with the town approving the new ordinance, that commission went away. So if they would like to continue to serve or participate, they need to reapply to be part of the committee, which is under your jurisdiction as the select board.
Well, thank you for stepping forward, Darrell.
Yes, thank you.
Become part of the solution.
There you go.
She doesn't know what she got herself. That'll be great. It'll be a lot.
May.
Do we have a board member who might be interested in?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Well, check out the rec website. If you
I
can't
signed up
find
for
me,
it.
like, you got my email, I'm sure it's dispersed
no.
around. I'd be happy to go through. And also with trails, and I believe Ken, you're on with that committee. So
I just got your email.
Yes.
So happy to connect you with our next meeting.
yeah, so I mean, like all of those things fall under the purview of rec and really helping to educate, residents around, what our outdoor systems are, how to find it, and just talking about like how accessible they are, and just really, again, trying to create a one-stop shop for all this information, which my rec can do. So,
You might also consider coming to our next Economic Development Committee
with Reagan,
with Reagan.
yeah, I know Reagan very well.
Okay, good. So we're working on something that might be a good tie-in to what you're trying to accomplish in terms of getting folks aware of what all the outdoor opportunities are in
Yeah.
Monmouth. Things to do in Monmouth.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got my email.
I do.
Just let me know when that is.
And
Working in.
because you don't know, Mike, there has been a request by the Trails Committee and Kent particular to have something added to the website that will kind of let people know about our outdoor activities. And I think that's probably something that you could work either on your own or with Dennis to put that stuff on the town website so that it's available, so people know what we have. Because we do have, we have Whittier Woods, we have trails, we have a lot of things that are just not
Highlighted it.
right, maybe not highlighted anywhere for people that don't know they exist. The
Right.
longtime people that have lived here and know about Whittier Woods, but if you don't know about that, you don't understand what an asset that is to
For sure.
this community. And I think so we should work together to try to figure out how to get that.
Yeah, it's so easy to embed that in the MyRec website, which it can be under facilities. But one of the things I even thought about, if anybody had access to a drone, was doing aerial shots so people could then see where it is relative to where everything is in the town as well, in addition to some photos of the trails and some history. Those would be great details I could add in there.
So this is Mike. Welcome, Mike.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Welcome aboard.
Yes,
We've
thank
also-
you very much for having me.
Before you go,
Yes,
there was also a conversation when we passed the new beach ordinance.
Yep.
Am I using the right term, beach ordinance?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
That we come to some sort of understanding about how we control access to the beach.
yes,
And are we gonna charge non-resident people for use? Are we gonna restrict parking in some way so that it's reasonable and that residents get first crack at parking on the busiest days of the year? Some of those things I think have been historic questions. We've never really implemented a solid answer to, but we do now, because we have a new beach ordinance, have the framework to do that.
right.
And would be looking for this committee to come up with some solutions for that.
Yeah, so I've read through the ordinance and marked down some questions, and that's where that rec committee can be a really valuable space to just dissect it a little bit more. And I've run waterfront properties before, and naturally the biggest challenge is not creating the rules, it's enforcing. And just figuring out what is the best balance when it comes to ensuring quality of the space for people using it, and then of course safety. So that document is definitely going to be put to some good use.
Right, so I'll just repeat it again, but as we discussed again, the ordinance was passed by the voters, but the appendices in the back of that ordinance are at the leisure of this board. So I think that the hope is that the rec committee would work through the details and then bring those to you, and then we would create those appendices that would answer some of those questions about, do we want to have non-residents use the beach? Do we want to keep it the way that it's been, that it's only for Monmouth people? But I think that stuff all needs to be kind of worked out with the rec committee and the new recreation director. But I just wanted to say that again. I mean, I know I've said it to you a couple times, but I just wanted to say that out loud.
Great question.
Are you related to the Griswolds who live here in Monmouth?
So it's funny, I thought you were gonna go National Lampoon's route on that question. Which I have another story I could tell you about another time, as there is a loose connection there.
A little taller than you, I think.
You said
Clark.
yes. Well, I have my son Braden, who I call about 7 months now. Can never find him around the house when he's avoiding chores. But no, I do not share direct relation. But there's a few Griswolds hanging around in the area, from what I understand. Doesn't take much to spark a conversation with that last name. No,
Thank you.
but you are very welcome.
And you are welcome, Mike, if they don't have anything else for you, you're welcome to leave. You do not have to sit through the rest.
I'll do so
Okay.
casually. I think I'd listen to it a little bit more.
Just wanted to make sure that you understood
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I don't
Appreciate that.
I'll be casually leaving.
You know what, I'm not talking.
I think we got a light agenda. Yeah, welcome, Mike. Look forward to working with you. Welcome. So as far as fire department, relatively quiet, so I'll move on to activities. Monday evening, we had a beach party committee meeting. Decided to push forward under peer pressure to continue this event for years to come. So next year will be our 10th annual, so we're looking forward to that. We decided as a committee that the 4th falls on a Saturday next year, so we don't want to do it on the 4th because it's almost double for pyrotechnics. Try to do it on a Friday because Fridays are recognized as a holiday anyway, so I think most people have the time off. We just might push things a little bit more into the evening event. So maybe the canoe race can maybe do a little later, like 4:30 or something. Versus early in the afternoon. But we have several people outside of the fire department that have stepped up that want to be part of the committee, so I think that's what kind of fueled the fire to continue this event. So looking forward to that. Let's see. Last Saturday, we had a crew go down, help PD with traffic control for a Memorial bike ride. Right, seated here, 202 Pizza and Grill, and then they did a big trip up Anson area, I think it was. It's not somewhere up there. Over 50 motorcycles or more. I think Travis Mills came down and full speech and support that morning ride, so that was nice. Last night, I'm not going to steal Chief's thunder, but we did have several firefighters help us go to that night out. It's a great event. Say no more, because I'm sure that's going to be part of his report. This Saturday, the fire department's going to be going to Jellystone. We're invited each year for the type of truck, so send in Sparky. 10 to 12. Next Friday, it's the Firehouse Museum, but a lot of fire department participants of that. We'll be doing our 4th annual golf tournament at the Meadows in Litchfield. Forward to that. This year we've got 32 teams, so it's the most we've ever had. So it's been a pretty long day, I'm sure. But I do want to publicly thank all the businesses that sponsored holes or corporate sponsors. It's one of our biggest fundraisers that we put on each year. And the last thing I have is the ceiling damage. I just wanted to update you guys on. Mark was gracious enough to come and open up the ceiling and found real quickly that it's a little bit beyond the scope of work that he wants to dive into. It was literally going to be a bee's nest. So I think, Justin, you've reached out to G&E Roofing, and we're going to try to get an estimate for you guys and then report back, what it will cost to do the repairs. It's gonna require probably opening up the roof, to replace the rotted deck boards. We thought it was just the beams. Now it's beyond that. It's even higher, so it's right under that substructure of the flat roof. So gonna be potentially pretty costly. And if we do that, I know their annual inspection also looked at insulation boards that are starting to sink in towards the center of the roof. You're gonna open up the roof, you might as well just replace that at the same time. So you're talking probably a full replace.
Yep.
You know, that could be 100,000 more. So once we get an estimate, we'll come back to you. I talked to Mark a little bit. He thinks it might not necessarily be an emergency fix that we have to do right away. So whether we want to try to do something, which would, I think Justin was telling me, would require a special election to find those kind of funds. Or perhaps we can just put it maybe in next year's CIP. Be the better route, but I'll let you folks decide that once we know what kind of expense that we're gonna be looking at.
What's the age of the roof?
1962, so it's 62 years old.
So it doesn't owe us much.
No, it owes us nothing. And it's been, since Linda was here, there's a G&E comes out every year and they put, I think 12 patches just this year.
Yeah.
To try to fix around drain holes and all the other things. So it doesn't owe us anything at this point, but it is gonna take a serious investment.
Any other questions for the fire department? Okay, thank you.
Hey, what's the current fire risk?
Mike,
Hasn't rained in a while.
Extremely high.
Yeah.
Christine,
Pretty good.
yeah.
I haven't followed it, still, I think, low, but.
Really? Statewide?
Yeah, I'd say 2 or 3 at the most, but definitely not a high 4 or 5 fire. Just be careful burning on the island.
You think?
Thank you.
Dave?
First of all, I'd like to introduce the board to Rose Mandela, our latest hire for on TV here. Rose comes to us from the Warden Service. We're very fortunate to pick her up. She's doing an excellent job and just wanted to introduce you all to her. Please stand up.
Saw you the other day at the.
Good to see you again.
First
Nice
small
to meet
town,
you.
you guys have been keeping me very busy.
Seems to impress everybody.
My mother loves her.
Well, that's all I'm at.
Well, stop somebody speeding by the house.
Yes,
Mom was stopped.
You know where she lives?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
Right on to her.
Yeah.
You came from the Warden Service?
Yes, I did. Yep, I was on their department for about 2 years.
For how long?
Two
2
years. Yeah.
Oh, and why did you give it up?
The work-life balance was a little bit difficult. I was always on call, so a little bit harder. And then I like to hunt, and that was our busy season for that. So it was kind of difficult to do that as well.
I think Rose might have pulled me over on Anabesco Lake one day for a safety inspection. I passed. It was all good.
It's the first for everything, isn't it?
I can, only the chief can say that.
Chris did do it, but both of them. Yeah.
Last night we had our community night out, going very well. I mean, Donna organized it.
Yay, Donna.
Yeah.
Good job. I think we had 170, 180 people there last night.
No, more like 200.
So those of you who came, and enjoyed the food that was being served, we had hot sauce and, you know, we held back on the lobster, Ken. But we had the sausage and, we had a donation from the Smith Farm, 50 pounds of fresh hamburger, which was excellent last night. I mean, and Manchester Meats donated the hot dogs and some other hamburger for us to use, and Robert's Funeral Home donated all the buns and rolls and everything we needed so it was really a welcome endeavor to get all these donations from local businesses in the community and made it a success last night. I can't emphasize enough Donna's involvement in all she did to pull it all together and make it what it really is. It was our 14th year. Next year will be our 15th and hopefully not the last one she does.
Keeps going on. Keeps going on these cruises. There might not be any time.
Cruise is scheduled for May.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
I'm working around.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't be there, John. I was taking my girls to the Goo Goo Dolls in Bangor last night, so I'm sorry that I wasn't there, but
That's more important.
I always try to make a point to get there, but I'm sorry that I wasn't.
I would like.
So yeah, we were very happy with the turnout last night and we appreciate the help from the fire department. They show up with their rigs and they jump right in and help out. Yeah.
Public Works has the trucks, oh, and the snowmobile club, we can't forget them.
And the ATV club.
Snowmobile.
Yeah, same thing.
Same difference.
Yeah, so, yeah, I was real happy with the turnout and the number of people who showed up and pitched in and helped out. I wanna just throw out there that, Mike, since your person down at the beach has arrived, our number of complaints that we have gone to 0. So they take care of the issues down there, so.
Appreciate that report. We'll try to keep it that way.
Well, prior to her arrival, we were down there quite frequently, so. She's doing a good job keeping things under control down there and managing it, so
Excellent.
just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you.
Who is it?
Her name's Cassidy. And so she was brought on just actually about the same time that I was onboarded, so.
She
we've
works
been-
for the school, I believe, right?
Yes, yeah, one of the local
Her real-
schools, and so.
Her
we've been
real
able
job
to
is
put
she works at
together and go through the bathhouse and look at all the inventorying and, you know, just kind of go over the rules and share presence down there and just meet folks and, you know, correct here and there, just in case, be like, hey, you know, we do have these rules, and just remind people very politely, you know, this beach is really for everyone, and we just want to make sure it maintains that quality and safety for everybody.
And
So I'm glad to hear that.
and just that little bit of direction to the younger people of our community who have been taking advantage of certain situations, they now know that there's guidance down there, so.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Well, it sounds like Cassidy, if she's involved with the schools during, you know,
Probably knows
the
them.
spring, she knows them all. They know her, and there's some accountability there.
That's all I have tonight. July was a busy month. I'll get you some reports on July for the next meeting, and it's been very busy. We've had a lot of call-outs in the middle of the night, and we're actually anxiously awaiting Dana's return, so we don't have the open overnight shifts. Because it does lead to call-outs, doesn't it? She got called out 1:30 Monday morning. It all rolls together because it was a long day, but it wasn't until, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock that you got to go home the following night. So, yeah, it's been very busy out there, and we're dealing with the complaints as they come in, and like I said, I'll have an updated report for you when I close out July reports for the next meeting.
We've only had just a couple interactions, but we are very fortunate to have you, and we're very glad that you are here, and thank you for working for the town.
Yeah.
It's been great. Everyone's been so welcoming and it's been busy, so it's been good, and it's nice to work for a smaller department, so more of a tight-knit community, so I'm very
Did you
happy.
grow up locally?
No, I grew up in Massachusetts. I try not to tell people about
That's all
that.
right.
But I've been up here since 2019. I went to Unity College,
Oh, yeah.
so I've been around Maine for a couple years.
I think the board is supportive of the police department.
Yes.
I certainly am supportive, and you have an excellent mentor here, so I hope that everything is gonna
Yeah.
we hope you hang around.
Yeah, I plan on it.
I hope she can do.
Paul, did we have to pay for, to,
No,
No,
we did not.
Cause she was already
Yep.
through the academy.
double bonus.
Yeah.
We didn't, what is it, Chief, about 40,000?
I paid off in Winthrop, Noah, it was 47 and change.
So that's what we would have paid to have a blue pin like she had, like she is to come here.
Is the warden service still talking to us?
Certain people, the ones.
We are very lucky.
Yes, we are, very fortunate.
Would be nice to her.
Yeah. And you can sit in my driveway anytime, or across the street from my driveway anytime is where they said.
Didn't have any issues.
Never see it.
No one will ever see you get sleep down there.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good hunting down there, though.
You might be able to talk somebody into letting you hunt on their property.
I'm doing the deer spy right now, so.
Yes.
Okay,
I just wanted to, Chief mentioned about the roof already at the fire station. I wanted to mention that. Jellystone Campground will be closed the week starting on Tuesday after Labor Day for the culvert replacement. So we have a contract. We bought this last year, as you recall, but we have to operate underneath a DEP permit. We can only disturb the water or whatever is in there, I don't know, fish or whatever, during a certain period. So that is our period. So we are going to, on Tuesday, Jellystone Campground will close. And we are already receiving phone calls from people that have seasonal sites that are unhappy because they've obviously they've paid for a seasonal site, but they will have no access to it because it is inaccessible by fire, police, and rescue because the bridge will be gone. So they cannot be in there. So Jellystone is kicking them all out. On Monday night, they will have to leave because on Tuesday, the culvert will be removed and there'll be no access.
Is there a sense of how long that construction process?
We have given the contractor 7 days, and Jellystone is aware of that. I believe it's 7 days. It's a week, Ken, so I want to make that clear.
And there's no back door to Jellystone?
They have not provided any other accessibility, and they have not done anything to create another access. So,
There is a gated trail, but it's not roadworthy.
It's,
For the
yeah.
residents.
so they have not done anything to create an alternative access, and it's really not our problem. So.
Well, yeah, and so if we're getting calls, I would say, you should talk to Jellystone Management.
And as I mentioned in my update to you folks, Leeds is already committed to paying for 10% of the cost of the project. Their Leeds owners land is when if anybody who's been down there, it is basically the entrance. It's the building in which you check in is in Leeds. All of the campsites and the pool and all of the other stuff is in Wayne. So we asked Leeds for 10%. Their select board has agreed to that. They would like to finance that. And I said that was, in my opinion, you can tell me that my opinion is null and void, obviously. But I said that was fine because we have financed that over 10 years with the Cocknowagon Dam, along with the Woodbury Pond Dam replacement. And that is all in one loan, and it's a 10-year loan. So I told them that 10 years, whatever. We haven't figured that part out yet, but I did tell them that they could finance it. So maybe we will get, kind of an income stream to offset.
Over a similar period of time,
That's correct.
whatever. So it's just gonna be 10% of whatever
Right.
we're paying.
It's $16,000. So the amount, so you have the total project is around 300,000. We got $150,000 stream crossing grant from the state. And then the rest of it is on us. So, so the Leeds portion is like 16, right around 17,000. I requested 20% from Wayne. But like I mentioned, they have been kind of in between managers. They have a full-time manager now who's also the council chair in Winthrop. She's already called me back. I called her back, but we're playing phone tag. So I don't have a commitment from Wayne yet, but I asked for 20% based on the amount of value that they have. Most of the stuff at the campground is in Wayne. That's of any value, the pool and all the campsites. If you have any questions about that, that's okay. I did want, is there any question about that? Because I'm going to change the topic here.
Still nothing about Jellystone itself wanting to make a contribution to this.
They have, the campground manager is sympathetic to our plight, but the corporate office has said absolutely not.
Okay. So I understand that there's a matter potentially in front of the planning board.
Yes, our planning board stuff is very small compared to Wayne, but Wayne is looks like they're gonna go to the mat over it. So I don't, meaning that I believe they've already passed a moratorium, and most of the sites that they're looking to expand are in Wayne. And so the fight is really over there. Ours is like a piece of like 8 campsites, and it's just like kind of the back. So we don't really have a lot of,
Skin in the game.
right, we really don't have a lot of skin in the game, and you're talking about like a cleared lot. It's dirt. I mean, it's not gonna be worth anything on our side. And we could make it difficult for them, sure, but it's only gonna be 8 or 10 sites, and they would probably just move them 10 feet to the left.
If they wanted to avoid having to ask permission from our plan.
From Monmouth, yes.
And is there potential for them to go the other way, which would be to say if they hit a brick wall with Wayne, for them to be asking the planning board in Monmouth for more expansion value there?
My understanding from looking at it, I haven't done a lot of research on this, but the land is all in Wayne and Leeds.
So they're out of real estate on the Monmouth side.
On the Monmouth side, yeah, they'd have to cross the stream and develop stuff that they don't currently have any infrastructure to do. So like when you cross the culvert, right? That we're going to replace, you're now in Leeds, and then to the right is Wayne.
Right.
And then there's a stream there, and we're on the other side of the stream, mostly.
And it's not.
Yeah, we only have 3 campsites.
Right, that are in Monmouth.
And it's right when you first turn on between,
But there's no, I guess my question is, there's no excess real estate on the Monmouth side
No,
that's accessible or?
nothing that I can imagine that they would ever want to do anything with. Is that fair, chief? I think that's true.
The planning board had gone over there and viewed some of the requests that they had to, I believe, expand it on the Monmouth side. And it's been quite a while now, so I don't remember what the outcome of that might have been.
Right.
You might want to talk to Steve.
Right, it's true. It's just that I think on the Monmouth side, there really is not a,
There's not a great.
short of a moratorium or something, there's really nothing to object to. It's like campsites that are gonna,
They can't do it. Our sites are along Wilson Pond Road, before the culvert. That's the
Correct.
site that they want.
yeah,
The only access that they have is through Wayne. If Wayne puts a moratorium on, they can't access the new sites
Right.
in Monmouth.
Right.
So it's a dead issue at that point.
Right.
So when they need Wayne to approve it before they can ask us, because we're not gonna approve it without access.
right. So from our perspective,
Yeah.
it's really not, it really doesn't have anything to do with Monmouth per se, right?
That's correct.
Until we
It's-
say how
it's-
much you're gonna pay towards the culvert.
Right, exactly, yeah. Does that answer your question, Ken? Okay.
Sorry.
Have a good night, chief. Rose, and you are welcome. I'm gonna say it, you are welcome to go home anytime you want.
was very nice meeting you.
Yes, thank you very much. No, thank you very much for coming here. No, I don't think, nobody takes offense to it.
Yeah. It's like,
Just as
Yeah.
good a time as any. It's really nice to meet everybody. I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, have a good night.
Thank you.
The last, are we done with that? All right, okay. The last thing I wanted to say was, I think some of you were copied on an email that was sent from the Academy Committee about the town paying for certain activities at the building next door. I wanted to bring this in front of all of you and get an opinion, because we certainly mow the grass out front. This is town property. We mow the lawn. We probably haven't done the greatest job of weed whacking around the steps and things like that. And I'm comfortable with doing that amount of work. But that being said, there was additional requests that were made about fencing in certain things. And I think some of this was kind of generally made, not only to the town, but also to the contractor. Is that fair, Chris? I think this email from
Well,
Steve.
I didn't know until I read the email, so.
It wasn't from you.
Yeah,
So I want to make that clear, but a committee, the committee member asked that the town, that's a town property and that it should be taken care of. I am uncomfortable without any direction from you of expending any money whatsoever, unless it's just simply mowing the grass over there, knowing that the town meeting, we put a very small amount of money. It was like $6,000 or some, I think it was 6,800.
8450.
8450, thank you. To pay for heat and a little bit of money for maintenance, and the town meeting voters said no. I am uncomfortable asking Public Works or anybody else on the town staff to expend any amount of town money on doing any type of improvements around the building or anything when I do not have a budget to do so. Any money that would be taken to do that work, other than, let's just say, mowing is a general Public Works expense, would come out of the Public Works budget, which was when you guys went through with that budget. Kayla, you weren't here, but when the board and the town approved that budget, it was designated to do Public Works activities, not to take care of that building over there. So unless I am given explicit authority from you folks, I will not be authorizing Tony to expend any amount of money to do anything over there other than to mow the lawn. So I want to bring that up because it's an issue, right? So the town meeting said no, and we have a problem.
So can we authorize you?
You can direct me to spend money out of the Public Works budget to take care of that building, if you would like to. I will not do it without that express thing because the town meeting said no.
What?
So I just want to,
What specifically were you being asked to authorize?
I'm asking whether you want me to use Public Works funds to grade around the building so that it can be mowed, because right now, right, there's dirt. It's a construction site. It's not, we can't mow it in a regular way. You can't, we mow around the front and we can weed whack it and things like that. But like there needs to be, we need to bring an excavator up here or the front end loader. And we need to bring in dirt and we need to level it out and seed it and all that stuff.
Well,
And I'm not doing it unless you guys tell me.
I just had an email with the construction manager.
Okay.
And they do plan on doing cleanup, but they're hesitant at this point because it's so dry to come and do grading and seeding because
It won't grow.
it's not gonna grow and we don't have a way to water anything. So I think that they're waiting to, when the dumpster is pulled and they had to find a new service to come pick up the lull, the big giant piece of machinery over there because who they
tractor
always,
thing.
yeah, yes, who they'd always used went out of business, so they had to find a new service to remove that. And so, they do have the end game for getting out of, the construction area as it finishes up with this phase. And so that it will be graded. We do have our fence that we purchased initially to cover, to secure the area, which once that work is done, we'll get the fence back up to limit access to the immediate entry of the building, except for the folks getting in there to fill the propane tanks with fundraiser money. And then, so the fence is there, it's just stacked up, ready to put back once we, finish up everything. I think the only ask that I had discussed with Tony was specifically about the trees that had fallen and hit the building, that when they removed the pines and cleaned up, are just stacked there. And I had asked Tony at one point that if we could clean that up, it would make.
We are committed to taking care of that.
Yeah,
That's
putting
not an issue. He's gonna take care of that.
Yeah, and it would make putting the fence back to run down and meet the fairgrounds fence, the Cumston Park fence, and in the other direction. So we'll be able to use that fencing and all of that.
And I'm certainly not trying to throw this out on the table to place blame on anybody. It's just that I have a request to do certain things with town monies, and knowing that the town voted no, I am uncomfortable having town employees or anybody else do anything with town money unless I get explicit authority from you folks that you are comfortable using that money. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up. It has nothing to do with that project. It just has to do, we have received a request to do certain things over there. And I do not know how to proceed. So I'm looking for guidance.
But the townspeople have said we can't spend money, the money that was asked for and not approved. So how can we then go beyond and allow you to?
That's why I'm asking. I am uncomfortable doing it. I'm uncomfortable doing it, and that is why I am here tonight asking you to tell me how, I'm looking for guidance on how you would like me to proceed moving forward. Short of mowing the grass, that is what and weed whacking and trying to make it, it's a town building, so we need to make it look half decent. But anything more than that, Tony and I have had a conversation, and I have told him not to expend any money over there until I get authorization from you 5 folks.
Can I ask a question
Yes.
about what we have expended? I understand the trees were taken down and they fell on a dilapidated fence. Is that true?
We removed portions of the fence. Public Works removed portions of the fence. When they cut the trees down, they hit other portions of the fence.
Okay, and so those portions were repaired?
All of the fence that was originally there was replaced by the town, yes.
By the town?
Not the committee, yes. Not the committee's money, the town money.
Okay, I'm confused by that.
Well, that was a discussion we had about, Cumston Park property and who owns the fence. And the fence had not been maintained or taken care of, and it was in horrific shape. And for me, the Fair Association wanted the fence replaced to be able to prevent people from sneaking into the fair. I didn't think it was a big deal until I was up here during the fair and saw several people park and walk down there and try to get in through the fence. And I was up here for a meeting, so I can understand why they wanted the fence, but the fence was in horrific condition. And so.
How much did that cost us?
About $7,000.
Yeah, and that was because is it chicken or the egg? I mean, for me, it's chicken or the egg. What happens? The town owns that fence. It wasn't the Academy project, fences, and this not, your property, my property, this is all town property. And, you know, to maintain integrity of the town property in Cumston Park, something had to happen with the fence. We didn't replace the whole thing. We salvaged what could be salvaged. And the part of the fence that was in the ground laying down anyway was replaced.
So what happened was the fence has been there a long time and trees were growing. So you got the chain link fence and there was so much vegetation. They were like literally trees growing through the middle of the fence. So in order to move it so that it wasn't destroyed when the trees fell down, Public Works had to basically destroy the fence in order for the trees to be cut down, which were also a requirement of our insurance carrier because they had hit the building over there. So the trees had to come down. It's
Couldn't we have hired
it's a town
someone,
fence.
couldn't we have hired someone with a bucket to take the trees down piece by piece as opposed to right at the
So
bottom?
we had a former student who owns a tree service offer to charge the academy project $1,500. And it would probably have been $15,000 to have somebody come in here with a bucket to remove those trees. I didn't have $15,000 in the budget to do that, but we'd already lost 2 trees. One of them didn't hit the building, one did hit the building. So what's the choice?
Did it cause any damage?
Yes,
Hit
it
the
did,
building?
and we had to pay to fix the new roof.
And our insurance
So-
carrier also, MMA
Freaked
also,
out, right.
also said that those trees all need to come down. So,
Yeah.
so when I mean, I will justify my decision to pay for that fence basically based on the fact that it's still, even though the taxpayers don't want to put any more money into it, it is a town-owned building. We own the fence. We own from here all the way through down to Public Works. And that fence belongs to the town and it had to be removed in order for the trees to come down. So I authorized the replacement of the fence on the request of the fairgrounds people. And if you want to hold me accountable for that, I am happy to do that all day long, but that's what it was. It didn't have really anything to do with the project. For me, it was a town-owned fence that we had to destroy in order to remove trees because our insurance company didn't want to pay, would not cover that building next door if those trees were still out back. And if anybody feels differently, I'm happy to take the blame for that, but I don't want it to be laid on the building committee because it wasn't them, it was me. I decided to pay for the fence.
Well, I think if nothing else, the fence repair has shined a light on the whole project that we need to be really careful about what we do moving forward. And I'm glad that you're here and you've brought this up and you're asking. Because we have heard the taxpayers and their decision is that we're not gonna put any more money into this at this point. And moving forward, we need to be really careful and tread really lightly. And I think we're gonna have to come up with some sort of plan as to what is gonna happen moving forward. What is gonna happen with that building? If the townspeople don't wanna support it, then something needs to happen, whether it becomes similar to the Firehouse Museum and it turns into an LLC with a group that is gonna oversee it and try to raise funds and, but somehow get it out of the town's, financial, and being overseen by the town and owned by the town. And I don't know what that's gonna look like. Has the committee had any discussion about that at all, Chris? Or-
Well, considering that there is a historic preservation bond that was passed and they're finalizing the requirements and the application portion for that, that we have a very good chance of getting that money because it was a bond question last November. And we went to the MAT to be able to apply for that and worked with Randy Greenwood and Craig Hickman and
Who's the representative for here and Senator Hickman from Windsor.
Yes,
Yep.
and Tavis Hassenfuss backed it, I mean, to put language in there to allow us to apply for this. And that was approved, but it didn't get out of, it was carried over because the Historic Preservation Committee attached a financial note to it. And nothing with financial notes went any further. So in January, it will either be approved or have the financial note be removed and approved, but one way or the other, it's going to move forward. And then the application portion for, application process will be finalized and we'll be able to start applying for that money. And if we are able to apply for that money and receive it, then there's a good chance we will be, able to finish the project. So as Hugh always would say, since he's not here, throwing the baby out with the bathwater at this point in time, after we've invested $1.7 million and have the ability to apply for the, 700 or 800,000, because now we're 2 years removed from, what we thought we needed. So we'll be able to apply for that and hopefully receive it. Plus,
Specifically,
go ahead.
what did we ask for in that article that dealt with the $8,500?
That was just heat and electricity.
It was heat and I added another like 5 or 6, I can't remember the exact number, Doug, so don't quote me on this, but I added like $500 for miscellaneous maintenance. So,
So that's what
think of whatever you want to happen over there, but I might need $500 to pay for.
so beyond that, then, could the town be, like, take care of the upkeep after the company that's gonna work on it to get things back?
Grass
Can
wise,
money-
moment.
Yeah,
Is what
can
you're
we
saying,
use town money for anything that wasn't in that article?
That's what I'm asking. So
I don't know why we can't.
So public works is a broad category of expenditures, right? We fix ditches and mow lawns and do all kinds of stuff. So certainly if you ask me to do that, I can do it. I am not comfortable doing it on my own without an affirmative action from you folks because the voters did say no
To just those specific things.
to that building.
Just
Like they did not want to have any money in the operating budget for the town. I have no money to pay for anything over there. I can't pay for the light bill. I can't pay for the heat. All of that is going to be on the committee moving forward. Unless something changes, there is no money to support that building right now. So I am uncomfortable using public works dollars unless I get a vote from you folks that tell me that you want to do that. That's why I'm bringing it up. I don't mean to ambush anybody. I'm just trying to say, I can't have these invoices coming through for things that are related to that building when the townspeople have told me, no, I am not doing it without your affirmative authorization, because I don't,
town property.
it is town
We have
property.
to,
Can we get some proposed numbers from the committee for what they are hoping we
I think.
take from the public works budget?
I think if mowing is one thing, mowing is one
Yeah.
thing. And I think,
Right.
having received this email from a committee member, I'm not sure that that's what the whole committee feels is necessary based on that. The ask is more than I think that you guys have the ability to approve. The ask is more than, if it's mowing and weed whacking, yes. If it's anything else, no. Because what the committee has to do now is fundraise, which they're doing.
Right.
To provide for that. And once the builder comes and cleans it up and the lawn is put back, then mowing and weed whacking would be done, just like it would be down in front of the cobbler's house, down in the center of town.
Correct. And that's what I'm just trying to make I just need clarity on what you want me to do moving forward. That's all. I need you folks to tell me, you don't have to necessarily take a vote or anything, but I need something from you to tell me how you would like me to proceed, to treat that. I'm fine. That's kind of where I'm coming from, is that we can mow and weed whack and do a better job at that. And I've talked to Tony and he's okay with that too. He doesn't like the way the building looks. But we're trying to figure out what our boundaries are. But I'm not willing to use public works dollars to move dirt around and bring in gravel and make a driveway, whatever it is
That should.
so that's why I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to comment, the people said no, and if you go in and do this, we're gonna be pissed. Because we said no. So please,
Don't do anything that the people said no about. Like,
So I think anything
But what is
outside
that?
of mowing and weed whacking needs to come back for, like, to be a vote to the public.
Right, which I think is
Yeah.
fair. I just want to make sure that when I have the public works crew over there weed whacking around the stairs and everything, that's fine. I think that's fine. Tony thinks that's fine. It's a town building. But does anybody want to see the front end loader over there moving dirt around and bringing in gravel and all that? Because that's a different question. That's what I would need you.
Yeah.
I am not prepared to do that without you telling me to do that. Does that make sense?
although the townspeople didn't say we couldn't do that. All they were concerned about it.
Well, okay, then, tell you what, tell you what, I'll make a motion that we instruct the town manager to, beyond weed whacking and mowing, not authorize any expenditure of town resources for maintaining that building.
And I have a question before we vote on this, because the fencing going back up, when we do need to put that fencing back up, I mean,
Isn't the fence, what do you mean, the temporary
the
fence?
temporary fence
Okay.
will need to be,
This is
go
the question.
back up. So, and there's me.
Right.
And I could probably persuade somebody I know to come help me, but if for some unforeseen reason, I need some help moving that stuff around, I might need some help, and I'm not sure who I would ask for that help unless I
will volunteer to
struck
help.
up somebody to
Rather than
come
asking
help me.
Public Works
Yes.
to come do that.
So those
I
are the
will-
things that I
will
might
volunteer
need to
help.
ask for help to move the sections of fence
Do
around.
it before it goes to Florida.
Well, that's the
Can I-
plan, so
That was.
We'd be able to get enough volunteers.
that's the whole thing. I just need to
No,
say.
Believe in the law.
That's a great source of
Yeah,
There you go.
that's
Day
the
of
thing.
caring.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't mean to make a big thing. I just need clarity on what we do.
Listen, let me tell you that it's a good thing my motion doesn't include 50% of the cost of fixing that fence. So I think we have a motion on the table, Mr. Chair.
I think it was second.
And I seconded that motion.
And Mark seconded.
Yes.
Okay, there's a motion by Kent, second by Mark to advise or force the town.
No, I mean, that's fine. I'm asking, please, give me some guidance here.
To just do minimal maintenance, mowing, weed whacking. Okay,
And can I just clarify something before that? So Public Works has already committed to taking the trees that are over there that were cut down, and they are going to dispose of those. So can we still do that? Tony had said he'll take care of it. He was just waiting for the lawn to dry out and for him to have 10 minutes to do it. We're trying to get ready for paving.
yeah.
So is that still okay? I just don't, okay. I just want to make that clear.
yes, no, does it fit in here?
There's a little pile there that, I mean, so,
He already said that they could take care of it and take it to transfer station. They'll do it. They just haven't gotten around to it
Yeah.
yet. I just want to make sure they can.
but they're kind of where the fence needs to go anyway, so.
The camel is starting to get into the tent.
It's got a nose, but Carol. So is this okay?
Yep, we just need to vote.
Okay, all those All those in favor of this?
You really should amend your motion.
Amended?
Because of the trees.
I will amend my motion to include other minimal landscaping activities like the removal of brush and trees.
Okay. I understand where you're going, so.
Are you
As long
happy
as
to?
no one's gonna hold me to it later, I'll be
Second
fine.
the amendment to the motion.
And Jessica will be able to figure out.
Yeah.
I'll help her.
Okay, all those in favor? Thank you.
All right, I think, I'm sorry, but I think that's all that I had. Unless you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Justin, can you tell us, we requested financial statements from the end of last fiscal year.
June 30.
Yep.
Yep.
Where are we on that?
As I wrote in my update to you folks, the last one takes longer because we need to make sure that we have all of the invoices for that year. When you do quarterly financial statements regularly, if there's an invoice that hasn't been paid or hasn't been accepted yet, it just gets put on to the next one. But the last one, I would like it to actually reflect the amount of money that's been spent throughout the year. So my intention is to have that to you by, on your August, I think it's 6th. I think that's your meeting on the 6th. I think that's what I put in there.
Is that when we're going to talk about the audit as well?
No, the auditor is not available until September 3rd. So he will be here on September 3rd. He's scheduled for that meeting.
I understand that it's going to be a preliminary statement and that the numbers could change based on some outstanding invoices. And I thought I made this clear when I made the request, that it would be a preliminary, press the button, produce the report, let's see where we're at kind of deal. Could you please send that to us tomorrow morning?
Absolutely.
Just
If
so
you
that
want it, but it's gonna be a June 16th report. If you're okay with that.
I'm okay with it.
Before the end of the year, if you're good with that, then I'm happy to send it to you. I'm not trying to hide anything from you, Kent. I just want to make sure that you understand that it's not a June 30 end of fiscal year report. That's all. I just want to make that very clear.
I understand that. We've got it on the public record. And I'm disappointed that we can't talk to the auditor until September 7th, September
I think it's the
3rd.
3rd is your meeting. And
I'm in receipt of the audit that you forwarded to us.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of questions.
Sure.
And the longer we get to, it takes to get those questions answered, the more uncomfortable I get. So I wonder.
I understand, but I would like to also point out that Casey from RKO does not work for the town. He is not my employee. He is a contractor. And he is only available when he says he's available. I cannot make him come here any sooner than he says that he has time.
I understand. I also understand that we invested significant resources, town resources, in the QuickBooks program. And it was sold to us as you press a button, you get a report. That's what I asked for at the last meeting. Press the
I can give
button.
you a report. It's just, it's not a quarter. You asked for a fourth quarter report. I'm going to be giving you a report that's 2 weeks before the June 30 deadline. So if you are comfortable with that, I am more than happy to provide it. And I'm sorry that I didn't understand that, but I cannot give you a June 30 report tonight. We do not have it. But I can provide you the one from June 16th tomorrow morning as you request. I'm happy to do that.
Okay, that'd be great. We closed the town office for a day to get caught up on all the financial information, and maybe I've misunderstood what that entailed, but I'm
But if
looking for
somebody has
press the button
sent
and
in
give me a
a bill.
report.
No,
If
that
somebody
is not what that
doesn't
means
send
at
in a
all.
Invoices come in.
Right,
Invoices come
invoices
in.
come in 30, 45
If
days.
the
after.
service is
Right.
provided on June 29th and the fiscal year ends on June 30th, there's no way you have that invoice on June 30 to close the fiscal year. They might not send that invoice. I bill monthly. They might not send that invoice until July. so you're still, there's a lag on those invoices coming into the town.
But at that point, the town has not expended the funds. So the funds that we're gonna go for that invoice are still in
Still
the
sitting,
town.
correct.
So you
Correct.
should be able to see that balance. It's not the town's fault that
Right.
somebody is lax in
Well,
billing.
But it hasn't, come from, it's still sitting there in the fund as opposed to a paid
In that
invoice.
fiscal year.
So
But when an
you still
invoice,
need those things.
when we receive a service, say on June 30th,
Okay.
it gets billed to the previous fiscal year. It does not get billed to the new year, even though the bill might come on July 29th.
But if you contracted for that service, you obviously know how much it is. So standard accounting practices, you would accrue for that and bring it forward to when it was invoiced, or not invoiced, but
There'd be an accounts payable.
yeah,
There'd be an accounts payable transaction that would say,
yeah.
We are not, this is not, we are not that sophisticated. We do not require purchase orders for, if the chief buys a box of pens from WB Mason, I do not require a purchase order on June 28th for $15 for a box of pens. We don't do that. So I have no idea that we've accrued that expense until the invoice shows up a month later. Like, this is not General Electric.
Justin, a box of pens isn't gonna be a heck of a difference.
Is what I'm saying, which is what I'm saying. I am happy to provide the information. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm just saying that it's not a true picture of the June 30 end of year report.
It's
And
not
as long as
final.
people understand that, I am happy to provide that tomorrow morning. I don't have any, I'm not trying to argue with Kent. I'm just trying to make sure that he understands what he's going to get. Because I cannot account for everything that every department head has purchased since June 16th. I have no idea. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to argue with anybody. I'm just trying to make sure that the report that I'm going to provide, that everybody understands what it is that I'm providing. That's all. And I'm happy anytime to provide information. I'm happy to do it.
and at what level do we require a purchase order?
We don't run a purchase order system at all.
I mean.
Period.
Just
We
for
don't do it.
example, we went there, covered patrol shifts in Monmouth for the month of June. I had to wait for my finance to give me the figures I needed the second week in July in order to bill Monmouth for June. So it wasn't until the third week in July that I was able to forward a $9,000 bill for the month of June to Monmouth, to you guys. So you have no knowledge of that until my books close for the end of the year. So you're blindsided, and there's no way you can plan on that on the books based on what you're saying. I mean, it's just, it is what it is, and these invoices come in, they straggle in a month, 2 months later.
The end of year just takes longer. That's all. But if you would like a snapshot of what it is today, like you're asking for, I'm happy to provide that for you tomorrow morning. I can do that, but it's not a problem.
I don't think 45 or 60 days is unwarranted because, I mean, I work in healthcare and it takes like 6 months, sometimes a year. And you're lucky if you like get the numbers back reconciled appropriately, and then it takes even longer. So I think, if we have the year end books tomorrow and it's only the first week of August, that's pretty good. It's pretty quick turnaround in my opinion.
But yes, I've written it down here. Can I have it? I'll send it to you tomorrow. I have the June 16th report. It's right on my computer right now. I can send it to you. I did hear your request, but I couldn't fill it in the way that I thought that you were asking for it. So that's why I said that.
Yes, sir.
But the amount of money that the town expends and collects and all of that, why don't we have purchase orders?
It's a question. It's a legitimate question. I don't have any, I'm happy to discuss it. It certainly slows everything down. So if we had to do purchase orders for everything and the chief needed new I'm just gonna pick on him because he's the only one sitting here. If he needed, tires on his cruiser, he'd have to submit a purchase order to me, which then I would have to approve. And then he would then take that purchase order and our finance person would have to then submit that to him so that he could then go buy those tires. Right now, we empower our department heads to operate their own departments as they see fit. And it doesn't need to be all these levels of sort of authority for basically mundane purchases. But we could do that. I mean, if we
We're not being.
Do have a purchasing
we
policy.
do have a purchasing policy, you're correct.
And over a certain dollar amount, there needs to be, I don't know if it was bids or some kind of pricing and.
You're correct.
To be authorized.
There's
over
there's a
amount.
certain level in which I'm supposed to approve the purchases, and then there's a certain level in which we have to go out to competitive bid, and then there's a certain amount that has to come to you to do it. That's why I bring, when we're buying a cruiser or a dump truck or anything, I have to bring that paperwork and I have to have you folks all sign it because I'm not authorized to buy a $50,000 cruiser without your permission. So
Do you remember when we did away with purchase orders? Was it during your time?
God,
I think it was during maybe Kurt's
we
time.
never had purchase orders when I was on the select board, so.
But you did.
Yes, we
Donna, you remember?
But I would just like to keep in mind, there was something called a purchase order in this town when Linda was here, and it was not a purchase order. It was a piece of paper that somebody wrote on and said, I'm buying this. It did not get accrued in our financial system. It didn't do anything. So we got rid of it because it was just another piece of paper that got shuffled around the town office that nobody needed, and the auditor even said that, why are you
Well, and
doing
that's
this?
something else I was gonna say. The auditor has never had a problem with the way that every time we've had an audit in this town, the same thing comes back. Nothing, everything looks good, except it's such a small crew working in the office. There should be a fifth checks and balance, you know? So I think, and that's probably what came back on the audit this time.
Basically.
That basically.
The same, those words as
Right,
the last ones I've read.
exactly. So the audit has been the same as many years as I've been coming to these meetings and was on the select board. That yes, we wish we had more checks and balances in terms of 5 or 6 people looking at it, but that isn't the way that it happens because it's a department head and then, I don't know, I'm just gonna pick on Yeska and then
Sure.
you and, you know, Lori and whoever looks at it. That's, and then you guys. So that's the checks and balances. Does the auditor want more? Yeah, they probably do, but that isn't the way that a town this size runs.
It's been this way since, for 25 years that I've been on the board and it's like, Casey must have it permanently written in his report that's what goes on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's always what the audit comes back as.
But that is not, I don't want any of you to think that I'm not open. If you would like to go to a more stringent purchasing order system, we can do that. I can bring the purchasing policy to you and we can amend it in any way that you want to see fit. I'm not trying to be obstinate here. Like I'm happy to do whatever makes you feel comfortable. I'm just saying that if the police chief needs to buy tires or when there's the middle of a snowstorm and things like that, there's nobody to sign the purchase orders or it just slows things down. But I'm not saying that that's wrong. But if you want to do that, I'm happy to try to implement a system that makes you all feel comfortable. I just want to make sure that I'm making that clear.
Well, I don't think
It
the
affects
purchase orders
efficiency.
make sense.
No.
Based on if every year the audit finds that we're running efficiently, that means we have good leadership in place. It's not like, we're accidentally wasting like $50,000 because someone misordered the wrong thing and we can't return it.
But the town needs to be run like a business.
Mr. Shaw.
And I mean, the businesses I've worked in, I mean, I used to work specialty pharmacy. There would be days where we'd order $100,000 in medications and sometimes we'd misorder. And I wasn't the one in charge of it, my technicians were. We gave them that power. And you hoped it came in, you hoped that it was returnable if we didn't need it. And that's how that business ran. And it ran efficiently. And we didn't need purchase orders for those. We just did the order at the end of the night. When the drugs came in, we reconciled it and made sure it was appropriate. So every business is a little different. And if the auditors think ours is currently appropriate, then I think
And it runs
there's no
like a
need.
business.
Dave,
If you remember, and I'll be the historian. Casey came in the first meeting with Kurt. We had our first meeting with Kurt as the new town manager. And Casey read off his normal paragraph to everybody because Paul had been just paying the bills. And you all remember that. Paul Bird was paying the bills. Kurt said that, okay, we're talking to you. We'll read, instead of just me giving you what bills were paid this month or every 2 weeks, we'll read off anything over $1,000, and you guys picked that number, $1,000. So that's why you read off still today, anything that was spent over $1,000 to appease Casey, that you guys would at least know what was being spent over $1,000 every 2 weeks.
I think we were doing it before that now.
But Paul was paying them and not just writing them down and giving you a report. And Casey didn't like that.
So
That's Paul.
that said and done, we just had a $7,000 transaction that was a surprise tonight about where that,
That $7,000 transaction was done months ago.
of course it was, but what account did it come from?
It came out of the rec department.
Exactly. I'm sorry, but that's a surprise to me.
Over there belongs to Monmouth, whether the tree fell from
But it wasn't read off.
Constant
It wasn't
part
read
was
off.
read off.
It was read off as a $7,000 transaction, but it wasn't clear as to what account it was coming from.
Well, none of that
It was on the
accounts say.
And let me also point out that you
was.
might look at our meeting last week where we had a very significant infraction.
Realize that, but they caught that before it even, the check was canceled, before he even got it in the mail, and it never made the warrant.
Okay, but here's my concern, Darlene. That mistake transmitted through 3 checks and balances. The town manager, the accountant, the town manager, and 3 members of the select board who signed off on the warrant.
I'm going to object to that.
I don't believe
The,
that that
the
is true.
system worked. It was caught before the check, the check was processed, and the finance person saw it and contacted Mark the next day and had already canceled the check. Our checks and balances within our own operation caught that check before it was ever able to be cashed under any circumstances. It was canceled. So we paid the $35 check cancellation fee. And the rest of it, I understand, it's a mistake. And I will own that, and my finance person will own that as well. But the system worked. It was not a check that he would have ever been able to cancel, to cash. Because she knew it as soon as it went out.
So it made it through 3 layers of checks and balances, but not the.
No, it didn't. It didn't make it anywhere.
Well, someone put the data into the check and you signed off on it and 3 members of the board signed.
You don't really, when you process check payments in an automated system, the reason that it ended up being him was because it's K and she misclicked. Instead of Kennebec County, she got him. He's the next closest one to that list. So it went through and she processed a county check, just like an RSU check, because they don't get held up by your vote, because they're not really optional. County payments and RSU payments are assessments. We do not own that money. It belongs to whatever entity it is that assessed it to us. So she really doesn't need to wait to process those payments. They show up on your warrant because that's what the auditor wants to see, but you really can't stop a payment to the Kennebec County. If they don't, if you don't, if you were to sit, if you folks were to sit here and deny that payment, I can be prosecuted as the treasurer for not transmitting that money to the county. So that money's going no matter what. So she made a mistake. She clicked the K, and it happened to be him, which is embarrassing because he's a select board member. But she knew it almost immediately. And she contacted him on her own volition to say that I've already canceled that check. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. The check has stopped. It's not like it went to him and he deposited it into his bank account and then we found out 2 months later. Like, it wasn't like that. Like, she knew it immediately. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
No, it's fine.
Did not deposit the county check in his bank account. I'm just saying that, like, the system actually worked, like, people saw it.
After looking at the warrant, I would not put my signature on there. It's like, this is not correct. So I did not, which I went on to look to see if it was there, because if it was there, I wasn't gonna sign it anyway, but it's like, now I'm really not gonna sign it.
But unbeknownst to you, the check already went.
The check was in the mail.
Right, the county check and the school checks go, they get processed monthly so that they're not late. Well, the county's once a year, but the school's checks just go and they show up on your warrant. You guys could decide that you don't want to pay the schools anymore, and you could sit here and you could protest and everything. And then the sheriff's department would show up at the town office and say, where's our money? And I'd have to write them a check. Like, you can't stop a school or a county check. So it doesn't really matter. So she processes those. They're on your warrant because you technically need them. I mean, they need to be signed off by you folks, but they have to go too. Like, it's not like disputing a charge at our debts. Like, it doesn't. They're another government that's equal to you, and you can't tell them that you're not going to pay them.
It is a funny one.
This is why last week when I said it's really important for us to review that warrant before we click the signature thing, to make sure we agree with what's on there.
Right.
That's our job here. We've got to look at that and make sure that, you know, to the best of our knowledge, there's a ton of things on there. I don't know what they're for.
But
If it's for
what-
300,000 or 400,000, I'm gonna say, what is this for?
But what is in place in the town office for checks and balances worked. And yes, the check went in the mail because it was Kennebec County, which she thought it was Kennebec County.
I think the checks get processed anyway, because whatever we approve tonight, those people have those checks tomorrow or Friday. So them are already, they're in processed and going. I don't know what would happen if we didn't approve it.
No, I mean, in terms of her catching it, it was that.
Where I think for me, the lesson learned is that I see those DocuSign documents come through and I sign them. I'm not really the approver, but they can't process until my signature's on them. I see them on my phone, and I'm gonna admit this. I just sign my name, but the reason why I just sign my name is because I have to read the ones that are over $1,000. So if they come in on a Saturday afternoon, in order to let her keep moving through her process, I sign them, and that's a mistake probably on me now, and I've learned the lesson. But the fact is that anything that showed up that would be wrong would be on Monday morning or whenever, when I'm sitting there highlighting the ones that I have to read in front of you folks. That's when I look at it and go, hey, what are you, Chief, what the hell did you just find? But I processed the electronic one without even looking at it. And I'm gonna admit that, and that's a mistake. And I have learned from that, from this process, and you brought it up, and I won't do that anymore, but I literally look at those, because you see me, I come here and I have my little pink highlighter over all the ones I have to read off, and those are the ones, that's when I look at it. I don't look at it when it's on my, so that's a mistake, and that's on me, and I'll take blame for that, and I'm okay with that. And
And
I
you know what?
apologize.
I've made a whole bunch of mistakes and I'll be the first to admit it. You can write this down. You know, we all make mistakes. And the thing is, if we say, yeah, hey, I did, I made a mistake, it was caught, it was corrected, we're gonna move on. Nobody died.
Learn from it.
Yeah, exactly. And you learn from it and you move forward. And you know what? We've done that, so.
And I appreciate you bringing that up because it made me think about the whole process. Like I probably should look at it online before I just put my name on the thing. But for me, it was like I go into my office and I print it out and I highlight it with my little pink highlighter so that I can read it in front of you folks at the next meeting. And that's when I actually look at it. Because I don't approve every invoice that goes through the system. I only approve the ones that are under my management, which is this building, town office, the staff out front. The chief manages his own department. I don't approve anything that he buys for the police department. I don't approve things that Tony buys for his department. So I don't really look at it until I have to read it here in those categories, because those are not I mean, ultimately, I'm responsible for everything, but I also have to be able to trust the people that we've hired to manage their own departments. And I can't micromanage whether the chief is buying certain types of ammo or whatever. I don't know anything about that. Like, if you don't trust him, then you don't trust me, and then we're all, what are we doing? Oh, that's it. I'm done. I'm done pontificating. Sorry. Chief.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda was select board reports, but.
I do have something. I have two things, and I'm glad the chief's here. I had some folks come to me about signs in the intersections. And what are the rules on signs in the intersections to get your house painted, to get your, this pressure wash. We buy houses, we sell houses. So what are the rules on those? But what are specifically on in East Monmouth, where the Veterans Memorial is, having signs there that,
The little metal ones with the.
Yes.
They're everywhere now.
Yeah, and they're on where the the little Veterans Memorial is in East Monmouth. And whether or not, since the town mows that area and we have a resident that maintains the flowers there, they were kind of upset to have those signs on the memorial area in East Monmouth. And what are the rules that oversee those in intersections, like at the foot of North Hill?
Do you mind if I would start with that?
Yeah.
So there's certainly a right of way portion.
Yes.
That is for the state or the town. And you are allowed to erect these things unless you have an ordinance or some other prohibition against that activity. If you drive into Manchester right now, you're gonna see them on the corner all around where Noria is and all that. I don't know why this started this year, but it seems to be prolific.
Yeah.
I saw it. I drive down, I go down Sanborn Road a lot to get to Winthrop to get my kids and then go to my parents' house over in Litchfield, and they're everywhere. And I agree with you. They're unsightly and all that. But without any type of local sign prohibition, I certainly don't think there's anything that the police department can do at all.
And so what about on that memorial where I think the town does mow that area in East Monmouth?
More about how far is the right of way into that memorial? That's what you look at.
Right, that's the issue.
Right, they owe from what, the center of the road to
Now, so many feet.
something.
Yeah, and Tony could answer that question better than I could.
No way as law enforcement, we know how many Rod Road it is and
Yeah.
Right.
how far out that right of way goes,
They keep disappearing. Keep disappearing.
And it's certainly not really a police function. It would be,
Well,
in any event, it would be a code thing.
Oh, where do we stand?
Well, that's on your.
Darlene, when you said they keep disappearing, do you know something we don't know?
No.
So a house on Maple Street that my mother told me about.
Oh.
No.
Statewide, it's an issue. Moose Chatter now, which is the code enforcement block that we all talk on, has blown up with this issue over the past 6 months, or actually before June. And the codes officers are all pleading with their select boards or town whatevers to enact an ordinance to get rid of them completely in town unless they're on private property. And that way, he or she then drives around in their normal duties when he or she sees one, picks it up, puts it in the trunk of the car, brings it back to the office, stacks them in the back. Any of these people that see that their signs are missing can go to the town office and pick them up and take them home. Once a month, they take the leftovers and bring them to the transfer or the landfill and get rid of them. More and more and more towns are doing that just to alleviate this. Unfortunately, all of you put your signs on when you're running for a post.
But that's a month, I think. You have a month, I think.
Right, with the elections, there are rules about that.
There are rules about that, but all the painters and all the contractors and
Right,
electricians.
they're putting them all over the place now, for
They're
whatever
all
reason.
over the place. So you can easily enact an ordinance to
That's outside of election signs.
outside of what the, the state has
Second would
deemed.
be
Advertising
Yeah.
signs.
Yeah, just advertising signs.
Those are in the process of being
Yes,
taken out.
Yeah.
I also thought that there were some towns, when they took the signs, there was also a fine levied for each sign. And they even call the people, by the way, we got a sign, you owe us $75, we got 10 signs.
Yeah, but they're not doing, on Moose Chatter, they talked about that. They're not doing it because it's adding another job onto an already overactive business.
Like if
For a
we wanted
codes
to find
officer
some
now
cheap and
to
some
sit there and
Yeah.
keep track of them,
People.
it's easier just to collect them. Actually, 1 or 2 towns, the highway does it. Picks them up and dumps them behind the highway.
Right, and you will probably confirm this, that code officers are not cops. So
Right.
they, can levy fines against people for all kinds of things, for code violations, but the only way that you can enforce it is to take them to court. So then the select board has to decide that they're gonna hire the town lawyer and spend $1,000 to go to court and enforce the $75 ticket, and
The only
so
way you
it
can do
becomes,
is-
right, so it becomes a big losing proposition, but.
So I just wanted to mention that, so whether there's ever an appetite to investigate an ordinance for advertising signs,
Can we look into that? I feel like that's a safety issue when
Yeah,
people are driving,
exactly.
they see a sign, then they like whip around to read it. and-
Well, and I think that,
Problem with people being distracted.
yeah, well, it's sight lines too,
They
because,
put them on telephone poles.
oh, I know, which is CMP is, you're not supposed
Sit
to.
down.
But, sight lines, because my mother mentioned it, she's not quite as tall as she used to be in the car, and seeing sight lines, she mentioned how hard it was to see bicycles.
Is that something that you folks want me to investigate?
Look around and
Yeah,
see
see
what other
what
towns are doing.
Different others are doing. And so that was my first thing.
Yeah, in the future for sure.
Yeah.
And my second thing is I wanted to recognize Margot Smith and Lindsay McNair for their business that was so amazing in town. And I wanted to thank them for everything they did with the planters and helping keep the town beautiful. And I am truly sorry to have lost them as a business, but I totally understand, Margot's decision. And but I wanted to recognize them and thank them for all their service to our town.
Absolutely.
Those are my 2 things.
I have a couple.
Thank you. You what?
I have a couple of select board reports. One is we received a letter from Senator Collins
Yes.
indicating that the funding for that would close the gap on the North Monmouth Water Project has moved another step forward to becoming part of the next
It's like 5 million or something like that?
3.5 million,
Okay.
which is what the project needs in order to move forward. it's one step closer. I understand that budget is under consideration over the next 60 days or so. So we're going to find out more as we get closer to November, I imagine. But nonetheless, that's good news that that funding is coming to one way or another, an up or down type of thing. I had a question, two questions, speaking of signs. I'd pose this one to Tony. I don't know if he got to it. The hand carry boat launch at the Jug Stream Dam sign
Okay.
went missing.
Someone stole it? You think?
Probably in the stream.
It went missing.
Want me to replace it?
Well, I asked Tony if he could find out, but yes, if you could remind him.
Okay.
It went missing during some contentious negotiations between lakes. So
Oh.
anyway, it's time for it to be replaced. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe it's one of
Take
those
care of
things that Darlene has more information than I did.
Hence the question. I understand it now.
And then the other is, Justin, if you could do some investigation on the appraisal process for the TIF district, the CMP Main Street TIF district. Those revaluations are gonna come in soon. And the question that you and I had discussed at one point was, to what degree does the TIF recognize the increase in values
Yep, okay. I do understand what you're saying. Yep, okay. It took me
according
a
to the
second.
revaluation?
Yep, let me check on that.
Because that could be a
Gotta read the-
significant,
Yep. Yeah, we did talk about that. I'm sorry. I didn't do that.
Is that something the guy who does this for us, who evaluates?
Dan Tassel.
Yeah,
No, it has more to do with the way that the TIF was originally drafted is when we do a reval, does the new value picked up in the reval get incorporated into the TIF district for the revenue stream, or does it fall into the general fund tax revenue? And Ken had asked me to do this and I told him I'd look it up and I have not. So I do apologize for that, but I am gonna work on that. I will look into that.
do we have any news on code enforcement needs?
There's an item on
The
the,
agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Oh, it's coming up. Okay, good. Then I'll defer that. And that's all I have.
anything else?
it's under your select board reports, or is this under the public comment?
The comment?
Okay. I don't know how many people have read or were appraised that the transfer station put out a email or something of that nature about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago maybe, said that the transfer station is no longer going to accept point ash. So today I went over to the transfer station to ask about it, and they said, nope. Because the EPA said that they would have to erect a cover over it and get barrels and that to receive the wood ash. So I asked the gentleman there, lots of people have, especially in the summertime, you have a campfire or whatever, you have friends, family over. But there's also a substantial amount of people in Monmouth that burn wood in the wintertime. I said, where do they dispose of that? And a comment was made, well, it can be dumped in the woods. And I'm going like, well, you know, we live on a peninsula out with a lake, we all have small lots. No, none of us have any woods. So if I put the barrel in the back of the truck and drive down and dump it on the side of the road, the chief is gonna pay me, or one of his people is gonna pay me a visit. What the heavens are you doing? So I think that's a totally unacceptable solution. There was no, this is what you can do with it, this is where you can dispose of it. So I think
I apologize for that response. That is
I'm
inappropriate.
sorry?
I apologize for that response. That's inappropriate. I did not know anything about this. I will certainly talk to
Well,
Tony about it when he's back.
I don't know if it came from the individual I was talking to there, or if it came from whoever generated the email stating that they were not going to accept it anymore.
Okay, yep.
But I think as an operational unit for the town, we have to have some way of dealing with that.
Right, I agree.
mean, I have,
Agree with you.
there's 3 people on our road that burn wood exclusively during the winter, which maybe some of you do also. And it generates some amount of ash. So I think that needs to be addressed.
Seems like composting might be
I'm sorry?
anyone that does composting, I would think.
Well, I mean, there are some people that spread on their gardens and things like that, but well, depending on where you live and what the topography of your lot is and that, where are you going to put it? You know, one of the neighbors has, you know, a ample sized house with, you know, three children, he, his wife, and his in-laws. They burn a lot of wood.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you because I don't know anything about this issue, but
I'm not asking for.
I appreciate you bringing it because I didn't know anything about it, but I will certainly talk to Tony about it next week.
Today I was out in the yard and the neighbor across the street, it was after I had gone to the transfer station and inquired.
Sure.
He said, oh, I heard that they're not gonna take ash anymore over there. I said, that's the current situation.
Yeah.
He said, what am I gonna do? I said, I don't have an answer for you.
I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you
Well,
either. I didn't know anything about it, but I appreciate you bringing it up.
There are any local farmers that look for it for anything, if we have options available that, you know, if we reach out to, you know, any of the local farmers that might want it or use it, then there would be an option for them if they're interested in receiving it. So.
I did hear a little bit about the visit from DEP, and there were some really strict guidelines that they were gonna enforce. One, as to it being covered, there's restrictions on the height of the pile.
Can't be any more than 6 inches.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, you know about this? I've never even heard of it.
And I almost believe they said that there had to be some testing done to it on an ongoing basis to be sure that there was nothing in it that was, if someone's burning something hazardous and then they bring it in and dump it. Now we've got toxic ash at the transfer station, which there was no way to regulate, so,
I hear you.
sounds like there's some
That's-
issues that might have to
That's
get
nothing
worked
different
out.
than somebody putting an old paint can in the trash bag and throwing it in the hopper that you can't see. You know, some people are going to be
Yeah,
not going to follow the rules. It's
But
like,
when the state puts a requirement on us, then that becomes a different issue.
Yes.
right. And probably they're gonna try to figure out a solution for it, but we just got the visit from them the other day, so I think maybe it's in the meantime, we're not gonna take any until we figure out how we're gonna handle this.
well, the
Yeah.
email came out about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, so it wasn't something that transpired in the last couple of days.
Was it
Yeah. It
email?
was-
How was it disseminated? I mean, I didn't get an email.
I don't know anything about it. That's what I mean. I
think it
can't
was-
speak intelligently about this.
Didn't mean to broadcast.
No, it's okay.
I think it was a Facebook post.
Oh.
One of the attendants kind of updates things on Facebook. You know, by the way, this is going on, that's going on, we're not taking this anymore. They just kind of update people as to what's going on.
That's why I didn't see it, because I don't.
And maybe that's not a good idea for that to be happening, because I don't think there's anybody approving those posts. I think he's doing a service to the community by letting people know
People
this
know.
stuff.
No, I'm not saying it was adverse for the worker there, but I mean, if I spent, you know, an hour and a half or 2 hours to dig the ash out of my fire pit and put it in the truck and drove over there and they went out of here, I'd be fairly ripped.
Yeah, and I hear you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't speak intelligently about it. I don't know anything about it, but we will look into it, but I appreciate you bringing it up.
It's like one of these things, hey, Justin, do you know about this?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly, yeah.
I wasn't expecting.
No, but thanks for bringing it up because we will look into it. I'll talk to Tony when he gets back from his golf trip.
Another public comment. Dave,
Revale dates yet?
Nope. I asked.
Are you postponing sending out taxes after October to give us the
I
chance?
can't.
Expect some big issues.
The town, I know, but I don't have any, the town approves the tax dates and I have no authority, nor does this board, to change those dates.
It takes 2 months to get on the docket for the commissioners, county commissioners to appeal.
Yeah, but you have to commit the taxes before you can appeal. So it doesn't matter in that regard.
Yeah, but we don't even know if we're gonna have to go that route yet.
No, I understand, but I understand that, but again, these are not town employees, they're contractors, like.
Yeah. Just so I asked, do you know?
No, I do not. I requested on Thursday when the letters would go out, and he said that he was gonna talk to his partner. So this is Rob, who's one of the partners of the company. And he said he was gonna talk to Ken. And I have sent an email again this week, and I have received nothing.
Sounds like a hamster wheel.
But, I mean, they're in our system. They're working. I don't have an answer. I can't.
Okay.
you said in your note that you'd extended the timeline from August 1st to the 22nd.
Yes, I did. Yep, I did do that.
And so if they meet the deadline of August 22nd, what does the process look like in terms of someone has a disagreement with their valuation? How does that appeal process go? What does that look for citizens?
They will send out, so that August 22nd date is when they have to transmit the values to Donna, the agent, or you as the assessors, for commitment. So the whole process is supposed to be prior to that. So there should be a letter going out here in the next week or two that would indicate to homeowner or property owners what their new proposed values are, with an opportunity to meet with the contractor to get that done. So you can you can back that up any way you want, but there should be something coming out very quickly, which is why I asked last week. When are they going out?
Is this the same firm that did it last time?
No.
ART's who's doing Lewiston as well, so.
Lewiston, Bangor, Oakland.
Yeah, there's a lot.
They are one of the only firms out there.
Any other, yes,
I have two things. One of them actually was a question because you just discussed the evaluation and TIF money. If the evaluation of the TIF district goes up, is CMP gonna be ponying up more money?
Well,
That's a different,
Yeah, that's Van Tine.
that's,
Is it determined on the value of?
it's a little convoluted question, but if CMP is at the whim of the values that the town puts on it, like any other property owner in town.
Yeah.
So we hire a separate person to do the utility values annually, because he's one of the only experts in the state that understands how that works. And it was actually at Kent's behest a few years ago, and we've been getting pretty good. We pay him, $1,500 or $2,000 a year, and he's increased the amount of value that we've gotten out of it significantly more than what he costs us to do it. Just for your information, if you CMP calls and goes, "Why did you crank up the value on our thing?" And you go, "Because we hired Bill Van Tynen," and they go, "Oh," and then they just leave it alone. So he's been to the State Board of Property Tax Review multiple times and won. So to answer that's a long way of answering your question, that yes, CMP will pay more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second one is, I want to discuss lake levels. Who was in charge of opening and closing that dam?
Which
Which one?
The Cocktawagon, the one we just repaired.
So Public Works does it at the behest of the Cobussy Watershed District.
Because
they-
whoever's doing it isn't, times it's not doing it responsibly. They'll lower that thing and they'll walk away for 2-3 days. And then I gotta email Wendy, say, geez, lake level's going down. Oh, well, he forgot to bring it back up. Can't we bring somebody in that's local that has, it's all, anyways, that's what I'm asking.
Right, so Public Works relies on all the dams that the town operates. We rely on the Cobussy Watershed District, which is Wendy, the one that you're emailing.
Yeah.
She tells them when to open and close gates, take boards out, whether it be on Annabessacook. We don't have any internal expertise on lake levels. So we rely on them to tell us, and then our Public Works Director sends out the town staff to either, open, close, remove boards, whatever.
That's the result of what happens. The issue is, what happens on Thursday, doesn't get acted on until Monday.
Right, that is,
So in 4
That would
days, we
be-
can lose 2 inches of water.
yeah, I understand. I understand, but our Public Works crew is a 4-day work week, so there's nobody there Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So if they left it open on Thursday, by the time Monday comes around.
Yep.
We
I hear
can't get
you.
our boats off the lift.
I hear you.
Can someone else be in charge of the keys instead of a 4-day work week person?
Like, we've had people on the lake who have offered, who know the dam,
Yep.
and their dad used to manage it apparently years ago.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, they're just not willing to let somebody who lives on the lake oversee it. I guess you don't understand that.
It's
The key to the
certainly-
kingdom.
It's certainly, I'm happy to have that discussion. My parents live on Woodbury Pond over in Litchfield. The town of Litchfield does not manage the Woodbury Pond Dam. They have a dam keeper. They pay somebody to do that. And I mean, that certainly is something worth discussing. It would just be, over in Litchfield, I think they pay them like $1,000 a year or something.
Cobussy Dam in Manchester,
Right,
that's monitored and manned by a specific person.
by a specific
In
person.
the town of Manchester.
Right. And
And
I totally understand that.
opens and closes
And
it.
if you think that that is something that we should investigate, that might be something that the board should consider because
Wish you would.
the town staff can only, they're not gonna be, I mean, we can't, well, we could, but, by the time you call somebody, if we call our staff in, it's minimum 4 hours overtime. And so we would be better off to probably pay somebody $1,000 a year to have them, right, exactly. It would be cheaper.
You to do that. You
Yep.
can find plenty of volunteers.
Yep.
That way, when Wendy says, go close it, someone would be there within 20 minutes.
Yeah. I totally understand that. I understand. My parents live on the lake over there. I get it.
The guy from the town should be responsible for it anyway. They have enough of stuff to do.
I don't think Tony is gonna be insulted if we find someone else to take care of the dams. I'm pretty sure that he will not be concerned about it,
So
but,
please consider discussing.
Yeah,
yep,
so if we,
worthwhile discussion.
That have Wendy on speed dial.
yeah,
Yeah, right, exactly.
so if we put that, on there, if you come up with how we would go about making that change and what it would look like.
Sure. Do you want to do are you looking for it to be like next spring? I mean, we're almost running out, we're running out of summer
But if
here.
we start working,
Hate to
if we
break it to
start
everybody.
working on, making what it would look like to make a plan to do that, and if
In the
we,
next budget.
yeah,
I can
exactly.
get you 5 volunteers, the end of the week.
Yeah, because obviously
Okay.
it would have to be on the next fiscal year,
Yeah.
because we,
But I'm
If
saying.
they want to be
the
paid.
next physical
if they
year-
want to be,
Until the next fiscal year, we'll volunteer to do it.
exactly, so if
Right.
we had volunteers,
And then you can see how
Exactly.
well it's
Yep.
managed on
Yeah.
a volunteer basis before you start paying.
yeah.
Is there somebody you know?
Oh, yes. Well, I think,
Oh, yeah.
well, I think, oh, yes, we know.
It seems to me
Son
like
of the past gatekeeper has willing to say, I do. Who had the key when he was 7 years old?
Is that you?
No.
it seems like every
I
lake
live
would,
next to it.
it seems like there are a lot of lakes that would probably be able to get responsive volunteers to
I'm sure that.
They should-
show up and say,
And we talk to Wendy all the time,
Yes.
so it's.
And they already have, like Dorsey, Marina Cook, not Annabeth Cook, but a lot of dams, Coventry is, they all have.
Because I think, you know, the
somebody
only
taking care.
hard one would be Judd, you know.
Oh,
because
Judd's a
that-
different
Got
story.
a different
You gotta
story.
take
That's
place.
gonna have to be somebody that, it can't be a volunteer system there.
Unfortunately.
There's
Right,
a,
but our new gate down
Yeah.
Cockwagon is not that,
It's so
you
easy.
just crank it. You just need a key to open the door and you crank it up. It works good.
Yeah.
Thank you for,
Yeah, sure. Thanks for bringing it up. It's a good,
Yeah.
it's good, good thing to talk about.
and Annabeth Cook Lake thanks you for Cocknoir.
I know. You're not getting that key.
Yeah, I'll be the volunteer on.
it's never gonna open.
It's okay. We've had.
Is there any more public comment? No. Okay, on to, discussion of the code enforcement position.
So I put some Q and A in here for you folks, just as an FYI. But the way that we have advertised the position currently is 20 hours a week. And the idea behind the 20 hours a week was that we would have more physical presence of whoever that person was to be in the office, because it's not that in my opinion, it's not that people are not filing permits, it's that they can't get the subsequent stuff done. They can't get the inspections done. They can't get their certificate of occupancy. And when I don't mean to point at you, Dave. I did, but I didn't mean to.
Better watch it, Justin.
When you have the third party inspectors, they can't get the information they need to do their portion. It's not necessarily that people are just going around and building houses all over the place and nobody knows about it.
I would beg to differ on that, so.
Fair enough. That has not been my experience. So the complaints I get is the timeliness of being able to get the subsequent inspections, the certificate of occupancy information, and then the third-party inspectors calling and complaining that there's nobody there to fill out, to give them the information they need to do
A contract.
their portion of it. That's what I get. It's not that people can't initially get their permit. But anyway, so I tried to include some information in here about how you certify people and all that stuff, and I don't know how much of that stuff is useful. Our budget is $37,000 a year. So at 20 hours, it's $35 an hour. That's what we have in the budget. And my thought was, just like Dave mentioned at the last meeting, was that I think that we should get out of the business of inspecting these things. So that and I've already instructed Andy, he's gonna take care of it because he's already changed that permit a couple times online. That would require the applicant to put in the name of the third-party inspector that they intend to use for their building inspection. So that people do not feel like the town is gonna do that anymore. So you need to go pay, what is it, Dave, $250 or something? To have an inspection done?
And how many inspections, but.
Okay, yeah,
You know,
but,
It's a house, it's 10 inspections. So
But is that-
it's
okay.
Yeah.
But just to get the town out of it, so that they're not constantly, giving the people out front a hard time about it. And it may make the job, in my opinion, more attractive if they don't have to be responsive to people calling them on Friday afternoon to come out and check on their septic system or whatever that just got done. Andy did explain to me, and you can correct me, Dave, because you know more about this than I do, is that the state requires the town to appoint an LPI. So we have to have a plumbing inspector. My understanding is that doesn't necessarily mean that person has to do the inspections, but they have to sign off on the permits. So the third-party inspector has to fill out and please, just cut in if I'm saying it wrong.
Okay.
If they have to go out and look at it, but the town LPI would have to actually sign the permit for the plumbing.
Wait,
No.
third-party inspectors are not LPIs.
Right.
There are no third-party inspector who is an LPI. An LPI is a totally.
Okay, this is why I wanted you to tell me.
Total separate entity of the state of Maine. They're licensed through a different entity, they're managed by a different entity, and they get paid by the permit fee from the town. The town doesn't get the permit fee. It goes,
If it's a third party.
no.
There's no
The
third party in
LPI
LPI.
gets his money for third-party inspections from the town that they.
Right, but
work
you
for.
know as well as I do that in Monmouth, we have never done it that way.
Yes, Ernie always.
We've
collected
always
the money.
paid Ernie a salary and the town keeps.
Kept the money, but it was supposed to be close to the match.
Right,
Yeah,
right, I understood.
That had to go. So you still, if you hire a codes officer who is not certified LPI,
Yeah,
you still have to then hire
right, we have to appoint an
an
LPI.
LPI who's certified through the state of Maine
Right,
plumbing.
and normally they would collect the fees. And every other community I've worked in, that's how it's worked. And they fill out the paperwork and all that. Ernie never did that. So we've always paid Ernie as far as I know, he's been here, what, 20-something years?
Yes.
We've always paid him a salary and the town keeps the plumbing fees. That's unusual.
Because of the way we ran our office.
Right. So,
Good.
long way of saying is that I think we should get out of the business of having people think that the town code officer is available to do your building inspections. And we should just say, you need to put a third-party inspector on there when you file your building permit. So the plumbing, so that the code officer is literally filling out building permits and doing code violations. And everything else is all private sector. You hire somebody like Dave or whoever to come out and do your inspections.
Yeah.
And I thought that we were encouraging that since.
Yes, but there were a lot of small permits
Yeah.
that the codes officer was inspecting.
Like a deck or something.
Like a deck or a small garage or a carport or something
Yeah.
small. It was up to him. He can't do it,
Yeah,
on 20 hours a week.
exactly.
He can't do that.
So,
And still do inspections.
Or timely is the issue.
Timely.
right? Like for the people that want to have it done, they can't get it done timely.
We can't write contracts for people unless the codes officer gives us the information, the map and lot, all that stuff that we need, the correct name, because a lot of it is in trust of and all of that. We don't know that. We're only dealing with a person who lives there. So we can write a contract and know what the project is approved, because we're not supposed to be we're building inspectors. We're not codes officers. We don't look at the code and say, no, you can't do that. Or yes, you can do that, or we can add this on. The codes officer has to tell us what he's approving, so we know what we're inspecting.
And some of this stuff, I appreciate the conversation, Dave. Some of this stuff it's gonna be cleaned up. So what's happening right now is the permitting system is pulling off of a mapping program that pulls out of the assessing database. And it's giving them false information. It's giving them information that's a year or two old. We, as part of our reval, converted to a completely new mapping system, which now Donna every year will submit all of the deed changes. So when you sell your house and your deeds go through, are going to go to a company called CAI in New Hampshire. And this stuff is all going to be updated every April. So some of the stuff that Dave has mentioned about people have died and all that stuff that's all gone. That'll all be fixed. We just approved the new system just yesterday. I just did it. So the new mapping system is going to get put on the website once Dennis puts it up there. And it's going to start pulling real data instead of 2-year-old data. So that part will be fixed, which he mentioned the other day. So the information will be real and not old.
Your information,
Yes.
the town of Winthrop, when someone goes in for a building permit, And he says, what are you gonna do? Mark says, what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna build it? That type of thing. And he goes, okay, you need to have a third-party inspector because he's not licensed to inspect. Here's a list of names.
Yeah.
And contact information. You need to contact somebody and you need to get it back to me with who's gonna do the inspection.
Right. That's what we're talking about. We want that on the building permit.
That is correct.
So that the owner of the property knows from the onset that they have to hire a third-party inspector. And Andy just gave me, he just sent me a PDF of the third-party inspectors, right, that are around at the moment. And I just put it on the website, so you don't have to use that. Because some people that aren't comfortable with computers, they can't use that
They can't use.
database. They don't know how to use it. So he said, just put it on there and make sure you make it clear that it's not inclusive, right? Because it's going to be somebody
There's a whole
new.
bunch of people on there that aren't doing it or are gone.
Exactly.
So,
But we can only do what we can do, right?
That's correct.
So we're trying to make it easy. So there is a PDF now on the website about who the third-party inspectors are that are
And what they're
certified.
certified to do.
Right, exactly. And we'll try to update that once in a while, but obviously our current codes guy is already resigned, so we're just waiting for someone else. So,
So like, I'm licensed to do residential, David's licensed to do residential and commercial. I don't do commercial.
yeah,
So so if you were doing a dentist building in Winthrop or something, you'd have to get him or somebody else.
Somebody from Augusta.
right. I have reached out, just as, so everybody's on the same page, I have reached out to Winthrop. I know that Mark is in Winthrop, Mark Arsenault in Winthrop, is completely overburdened. He has way too much work to do. And he's been begging for years for some type of help. And I have reached out, I'm trying to coordinate a meeting right now with the manager in Winthrop about whether my 20 hours a week and whether he can come up with enough money that maybe between the two of us, we can hire a full-time person that might be able to help Mark and do us. I'm talking to Andy and seeing the workload and all that. I do not think we need somebody 40 hours a week in the town office, but we do need somebody in the town office that's there, I think physically, two full days a week and then be able to do the inspections. Or not the inspections, the violations, to be able to travel around or respond to people that are asking questions. I'm not sure there's enough to do for someone every day of the week.
Not without inspection.
Right,
Without inspection.
right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Probably good.
Yep.
Well,
So-
Winthrop also got rid of their longtime plumbing inspector. And Mark now does the plumbing inspections. So that's one of the reasons why
And he has to do the inspections.
he has to do the
Right.
inspection.
And Mark also staffs their planning board.
Yes.
So don't forget that. He stays there for 3-4 hours at night on every other Wednesday or whatever to do their planning board meetings. So he has plenty to do.
He has more than enough to do.
Yes, exactly. More than enough. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. So. But anyway, that was my thought, but I'm happy.
Okay, so are we looking for both a code enforcement officer and someone that's licensed to do plumbing inspection? Or are we hoping that's gonna fall into one job?
It would be great if it could be one person, but I'm not sure that that's realistic.
And there are no third-party plumbing inspectors that can report back and sign off on stuff. They're not out there.
I don't think we really know that. I think there's a number of people who were the plumbing inspectors that might be willing to do it on a part-time basis. I have a customer who's been trying to get the plumbing inspected and has been unable to get, I'm not gonna tell you what town, but the inspector out there to do it. And I gave him the name of 2 other people that used to inspect in the various towns. He contacted one of them. He still has his license. He came out and signed off on it.
Yeah, so like Ernie, for example, when someone calls sometimes and they say, I need you to be out there tomorrow, and he's like, I don't work there till Monday. Sometimes Andy calls Ernie and Ernie will run over there and do it. And he does it for us, right? But So there are people that can get it done, but it's not a formal arrangement that we need. You know, we need something that's like,
You still need a name to send to the state.
Yes.
that-
Correct.
that Who is our LPI.
correct. What was I not supposed to say that?
No, I'm protective of Ernie.
Oh, yeah, I am too, Ernie, you know, but he's gotten healthy again, so now he does stuff again.
I know.
And he doesn't mind doing it. That's.
Exactly. Unless he's at Moosehead.
Yes, exactly. You are correct.
But he doesn't go up to camp anymore.
Yeah.
That saves the whole summer.
So I don't really know what the solution is. My thought was that we could maybe modify the job description to say that we're looking for somebody to issue building permits and enforce, basically, in Monmouth, it's basically shoreland zone
Our ordinances.
stuff, right?
Just say our ordinance.
We don't have really we don't have very many ordinances in Monmouth. It's a, you know, you do what you want. Other than the shoreland zone.
Yeah.
Right? We don't, so it's basically, if we changed it a little bit, we may be able to get somebody who might be interested in it.
So I printed off the job description
Yep.
for what you have posted.
Yeah, sure.
So you would end up changing part-time code enforcement plumbing inspector. You would change that wording, or would it stay, how would you change that word?
Probably keep it that way. I'd probably just put further, my thought would be further down the description, I would say that we are a third-party inspector community and we do not expect you to inspect construction, basically.
Okay.
Like you need to, just to take that off their plate.
Yeah.
And then, does that make sense?
Yeah.
To the two of you that know something about this? I mean, I'm speaking, hey, yeah, nice.
I think it would be a lot more conducive to do that once you talk to them. Because to get somebody that is guaranteed to get there, can live on this, on what you're given.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, instead of having to add on to somebody else's full-time job, if you can make it a full-time job, you might get somebody young enough to take all the tests and be it.
Right. I have reached out, but Anthony and I haven't coordinated a meeting yet, but he's open to that discussion. So I don't know whether that means he has any money in his budget or not. But he is open to having that discussion with me. So I would like to think that maybe we could do something.
Because he's gonna lose Mark pretty soon if he doesn't do
If
something.
he doesn't do something, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
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 Maybe we better be thinking about that come budget season, just try to find some more money to put into that code enforcement job. Cause we need to get somebody in there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
We're gonna go right behind this whole audit thing that we're doing.
The revow is gonna be
Reevaluation,
worthless.
right, because we're gonna have stuff going on and we're not recording and
And Manchester's having the same issue. The town manager, one or two ago, got rid of the full-time code person and then he had a part-time code person and now they have somebody who just goes into the office during the winter time when he's here. During the summertime when he's here, sorry, and fills out forms and that, and then I'm not sure how
The clerk,
legal it is, but
clerk in the office is doing permits.
you have somebody from, who's employed by the code division in Augusta that comes out and does things on Tuesday, Thursday nights.
Right.
And then depending on how busy he is, he moonlights as doing the inspections for the buildings in Manchester also.
if we gotta put another $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 into this budget line,
For LPI and
we're
code.
gonna get that, we're gonna keep that revenue. We're gonna be losing that amount if we're not keeping track of permits and what's being built and.
We get paid from the client.
Right. Right.
So
We have 37,000 in there now, plus there's a mileage thing in there. So the thought was when we built the budget was it was 20 hours a week at $35 an hour. So that was where that's where we're sitting right now.
so if you change the job description that's posted right now, you can go ahead and make those changes and say essentially that they would only be responsible for permits, not doing inspections.
Yep.
So I'd encourage that. In the meantime, before you meet with Andy, right? His name's Andy next
Yeah, he
door,
doesn't
too.
care because he
In Winthrop,
doesn't.
no, I mean, that's what his name is in Winthrop, right? The
Mark.
town- Mark, no,
Mark
not
Arson.
Mark. The
Mark
town
Arson.
manager
is an Andy.
Anthony.
He doesn't like to be called
Yes.
Andy. Anthony.
Anthony, sorry.
Okay,
I
I'm
just-
sorry.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
confusing-
Our CEO is Andy and then,
That's
yeah.
why I was
Okay.
thinking it was, so
Okay.
between now and when you meet with Anthony, come up with some wording changes in there and see if that helps with the position, but obviously, yeah, if we can team up with Winthrop and do something,
Yeah, it would be great. So I inherited Linda's position on the Kennebec Valley Council of Governments. And we just got a grant from the federal government to create a Somerset County code officer. So KV Cog has hired a full-time person, but it's Somerset County.
County.
It's not Kennebec County. We're not eligible. It's for the little towns. So like
Yeah.
Anson, Caratunk, Jackman, everything up that way. And they're doing a pilot program to hire somebody so they can provide benefits, all that, and get a full-time person. And then they're gonna contract that person out to all of their member communities. But of course, we're in Kennebec County, so
Yeah.
we're not eligible. But,
Yeah,
that model is probably where we're all gonna end up, but we're not there yet. So
Yeah.
we need to do something. So that's why I
Yeah.
reached out to, Winthrop. It's just,
Litchfield and West Gardner are not mandated because of the population limit.
right, they're not moving.
Mandated to inspect to the code. However, a number of people that are getting construction loans through the bank, et cetera,
Yes.
and also want to get it insured,
Yeah.
they end up having to get it inspected.
Do we have some flexibility on the pay rate? I mean, the reality of this is the pool, the labor pool that we're gonna be trying to tap into is sort of the construction industry, and $35 an hour is not a great level.
yeah, but 70 is if you can tie into Winthrop.
That's possible. Is it, I mean, we're already a month into the fiscal year. Do we need to stick to 35?
Still paying Andy.
No. Because our general benefits line that has health insurance and all that stuff in it, it has a $20,000 contingency in it that we use when we, say we hire a new public works director. I'm gonna pick on Tony, but when you go to hire somebody and you need to pay him a little extra, there's a little bit of money in there to play with. So I don't have any anticipated, high-level employees vacating or coming on soon. So yes, there's a little bit of flexibility, not 37 to 70, right? But like I can throw an extra 5 at it or something if that's what you folks want to do, but I think we need the right person.
yes.
But yeah, it's a good thought though. Yes, there's always a little bit of wiggle room. I just have to come to you to ask for the permission to move the money around, that's all.
I would just like
Which is
to-
that article that you mentioned at the last meeting.
I'd just like to bring to your attention that there's all kinds of cities and towns out there that are looking for code.
Yeah,
Yes,
we know that.
yes.
We know that.
Super competitive.
So
As Chris always says, the codes and assessors are like unicorns. and
Yeah.
you-
I go into the Manchester town office and at the town manager there, she wants to buy me a coffee.
Right, oh, absolutely. It's just like, it's like this town is very fortunate to have Donna been here for 20 years. When she leaves, you guys are gonna, not you guys, we are going to pay a lot of money to have somebody do what she does. I can tell you that. It's just like codes. It's the same thing. Nobody's doing this stuff. So you pay a lot.
I don't think we're charging.
I know. We're not doing it for.
Don't let me give you any ideas.
I don't know. I don't know if you need a motion, but I would certainly be in favor of sweetening the pot a bit to go to, advertise for $40 an hour. to see if we can entice more than one application. You never know.
I do not need a motion, but if I have, do I have consensus from all of you? Okay,
Gonna be money well spent if it gets us somebody.
okay.
50 would be out of line.
Yeah.
We'll see how many
Well,
interviews you
and
get.
that's the
At
thing. I
40.
mean, but the thing is, you know, if we know we only have a small buffer, we can't
Right, so
suck it
that,
all up and.
so the
then
guy, I think like,
Somebody else.
right,
Something else happens, comes along, then we're SOL, you know?
Right.
So something else, some other position vacates and we need a buffer, you know? We can't, you know.
I'm sure there was one.
well, I was gonna respond, yeah, to Doug's comment, is that the guy that applied works in another municipality full-time, and he also does Wales, and I think he gets $100 an hour in Wales.
Yeah, well,
But he only works like 1 or 2 hours a month. So, right, but it's still,
All he's doing is violations and writing.
permits, right, but you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like
1
that.
hour is,
I
1
know
hour is not
exactly.
gonna cut it.
no.
5 hours isn't gonna cut it.
It's endless, yeah. And they will know it, that, you know, the state of Maine is looking for 60 CEOs. The price is gonna go up.
Yeah.
Rather than be flush with them.
But at the end of our process, when you do the final inspection, we write to whoever the CEO is in whatever town, we write a request for certificate of occupancy. And because we're both licensed by the state, that they can use that. I've had clients that use that to show to the insurance company, even though the code person has been lax in issuing the actual certificate of occupancy.
And actually, the state.
And you
law
mentioned
says
that, right?
Town
That the clerk,
can do that based on our signature on it.
right, so
Town clerk.
so I thought about that too, if we can get somebody in, then we don't need to wait for the CEO to be back in for their 20 hours that week. We could potentially talk to the town clerk and say, once, you know, if you have someone like one of their signatures on it, all they're basically doing is saying, yep, they're certified and
Yep.
blah.
I certify.
And then the certificate of occupancy goes, and we don't need to wait for the code
All
enforcement.
you have to do is make sure that the plumbing certificate is in there with ours.
Right, right. But we can train somebody at the front office to do that, and then they don't have to worry about waiting for the code officer to be in.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing where they get angry with me. So they call and they say, well, he's only in on Mondays and I'm trying to get my certificate of occupancy. Well,
I have closing.
can't you sign it?
Yeah.
No. Like, I don't know anything. Like, I have no authority to sign. You have to wait. And they get really angry about that. You know, well, I'm trying to close my loan and
Then they call me and they call in.
yeah, you know, and they're all angry. And that's what really irritates them. I'm
If you were
telling you.
going to contemplate having a person in the town hall that, based on the information we provide, could issue the certificate of occupancy, I think we'd both be more than happy to sit down with them and explain what we're doing and
Yeah.
what the form is like.
Right. And Dave has always been willing to come in if we were to change our process. You know, he's always said that. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that. I mean, if somebody in
That goes-
town office can sign those things, get them to stop yelling at me.
Yeah.
I'm always good for that. Anyway, is there anything else you want me to do differently with does that sort of plan for codes
Yeah,
Yes.
make sense?
yeah, perfect.
And I've got some flexibility on the pay rate and all that stuff. Kent, I wanted to mention one other thing, because you asked about this, the bicycle and ped program funding. It was a grant that the police chief forwarded to you, and you had a question at the last meeting about whether it
Oh, it
was.
was a sidewalk,
Yeah, but the new program is called Bicycle and Pedestrian Program.
oh, pedestrian. I thought you said pet. Okay.
Head.
Sorry.
Head.
ED. So I talked to Dakota and she said that it's possible that trail could qualify. However, under the DOT grant program, you would fall on, it's federal money. So it would trigger a whole bunch of additional requirements, and some of them are like, the whole thing would have to be paved, she thought.
Can we use it for sidewalks?
We can use it for sidewalks if it is, it's supposed, it's transportation related. So it has to be, so the idea behind it is that we use it to move people from something to something. So when I said, we're gonna go from the school up and around.
Wrong project. I was thinking the downtown sidewalk project.
So we're already in the VPI program for that. So we're in they're giving us the 305,000 or whatever. That's their contribution to that.
Okay, so they're not gonna allow us to double dip.
No,
Okay.
I thought that you wanted to try to leverage this with your trails program. And
If it involves paving, no.
yeah, she said that what it would do is it would trigger a bunch of federal requirements. And she said you're much better off to go with the trail program because that's state money.
Right.
And it doesn't require you to fill out all the federal forms and it makes it awful, she said. So she said, I wouldn't recommend it if you're just trying to make a trail around the school.
Okay.
But
Thank you for looking into it.
yeah, does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay. We have to do an executive session still.
Yes.
Sorry. This meeting I thought was gonna be 10 minutes.
That's what we signed up for.
Exactly.
After we move on to warrant number 25.
Yes, if I can find it. I didn't get a paper. Did you get that already?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes. But I didn't make a copy.
I didn't make a copy either,
No,
because I think it came yesterday.
Did it?
Yes,
Oh, I didn't see it.
yeah,
I didn't sign it.
sorry.
I did.
I'm trying to find
I
it.
was the first one to sign it.
Don't give Mark $700,000. Too much.
I can hear him screaming corruption already.
Yeah.
So I have it.
Did it come in?
It was Tuesday.
Just yes. right?
Yeah. Let's see if it brings it up faster.
Hey,
You got
people,
it?
I got it. Hold on. I have to get a new link sent, but I will get it.
No.
I didn't print it.
I kept mine open here if you wanna.
No, I got it. I got it right here. Go. Allied Equipment, Public Works, grader, blade, plow bolt, $1,784. Amazon Capital Services, that's our, it's like W Mason, it's all kinds of different things, paper towels and cleaning supplies, $2,992. Axon Enterprise Inc., 2,271. Those are the police chief's body cameras that he bought. He told you about, I think a week or two ago. Public Works, roadside mowing, Baker's rototilling, $8,500. Blue Rock Earthworks, $4,182.
Transfer station.
Most of it is that, and then there's a Blue Road culvert replacement for 1,100. So 3,000 of it is transportation hauling. DJ's Municipal Supply, Diamond Blade and Clean Out Safety Vests, $1,409. Darlings, car seller people, 42,633. That's the new pickup truck for Public Works Department. Dennis K. Burke, gasoline, $1,548.55. Elon Financial Services, it's a town credit card. If you would like me to read through this, I will be happy to do so. $2,891, but most of it is lifeguards, Adobe, Blink, CMP Steel, election materials, paper, things like that. Emergency networking, fire department, IT support, $3,995. Fabian Oil, Compton Hall fuel, $1,764.05. Fielding, GPS Solutions, Public Works, Paving and Roadwork, Shoulder Machine, $4,750. Grimmel Industries, which is demo disposal for the transfer station, $7,171. Main Technology Group, phones and IT support, $3,507. Main Waste to Energy, it's our trash, $5,741. Northeast Emergency Apparatus, this is fire engine maintenance, $3,460. This is a big one. Software programming on Kirk's computer, Proto Auto Transport, $2,442. Rinaldi Energy Diesel, $7,341. RSU number 2, currently we're paying for 2 months this month, $1,126,739.78. Another to make Chris happy. State Main Bureau Motor Vehicles, $5,177. Town of Winthrop, $9,056. That was for the police services that we received in June. Union Farm Equipment, this is that brush head that you approved for the excavator to do the brush, the side mowing, $12,094. For a grand total of $1,267,705.60. Money goes on.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we
Give $1 million
approve.
of it to the school.
Yeah, exactly.
I make a motion, we approve fiscal year 24-25 warrant number 25.
I'll second that.
It is 2 months worth of the school payment.
Yeah.
So,
So this, motion made by Kent and seconded by Chris to approve warrant number 25 for fiscal year 24-25. All those in favor? Thank you. Next, executive session.
I make a motion, we enter into executive session pursuant to 36 MRSA 841 hardship abatement number 4.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?